Hello and welcome to round 14 of the major series Sportsman America division from Auto Club Speedway. For Race First, I'm Matt Houston, your broadcaster for tonight's California 500, joined by Gary Gotzo in the booth. Gary, let me tell you, give us your thoughts about Auto Club Speedway tonight.
Well, going back to 1970, the California 500 has been a staple of the Champ Car, IndyCar, or kart schedule. Because of the destruction of Ontario, which was basically the Indy of the West, Roger Penske decided that he was going to build himself a 2-mile oval out in the farmlands of Fontana. And it's one of the fastest race courses in the world. The IndyCar World Closed Course record was set here at over 240 miles per hour. And what you're seeing today in the virtual world is a scene you will never see in the real world anymore, because somebody's making a decision to turn this into a short track. Boo. But we love Auto Club. It invites great racing. These are great racers, and I'm looking forward to an excellent and exciting 500-mile race, 250 laps at 220 miles an hour.
That's right, Gary. So let's have a quick look at the points here in the Sportsman America division of the Majors Series. So we had Mark Stevenson. He's kind of moved on from this series after winning this championship a couple of races ago. He's in first, 2,485 points. Daniel Johnson in second at 2,208. Some of these guys from 3rd to 10th are looking to solidify their point standing in this race. We have Robert DeLoach in 3rd, Brian Halleck in 4th, Chris Iatito in 5th, Stephen Paulison in 6th, Zachary Brown, Ernie Ludwig, Matt Gelder, and Rob Powers rounding out the top 10 here. So that is our battle in points for tonight. As we wait for the cars to finish up their practice session, we'll have a quick look at, we could go to the grid, Gary, but if you have any other thoughts about Auto Club here tonight, we go through any of that?
Sure. For people that are maybe watching this that don't know anything about IndyCar racing, we'll clue you in. If you don't know anything about any of the racetrack's history, we'll clue you in there too. This is one of 3 2-mile ovals that are kind of still on the map. Actually, one's kind of in the process of being bulldozed right now. But in the Triple Crown of the 2-mile tracks, you're looking at Texas World Speedway down in College Station, Michigan, which is still there, and nothing's going to happen at that place, and California. The big difference between these 3 2-mile ovals is that College World or Texas World Speedway and College Station, it was 22 degrees of banking. So imagine these cars on a 2-mile, 22-degree banking track. It would be insanely fast. Michigan's at 18. This is a little bit flatter at 14, but still, it's plenty fast because the world record was set here. This is a great track, and it invites just awesome IndyCar racing, and I'm sad to really just see it go. And I hope everyone sits in for a great show tonight, because these guys are really tearing it up. I'm looking at the times. They are literally on top of one another. These are some really skilled drivers, and it should be a very clean and exciting race.
Yes, so regarding that, this is the final round of the Majors Series. So next season, if you're interested in joining the Majors Series, it's basically sim racing enthusiasts throughout the world, and this doing the most prestigious and iconic motor races in the world. Here we're doing Fontana, California tonight. Was kind of a staple of the IndyCar Series final race, both back in the kart era as well as up to probably about what, Gary, 2015, 2016, they ran these cars in the final race of the schedule.
Yeah, the last race here was known as the MAV TV 500, and that was, actually looking back in my dictionary here, was 2015, and that was a great duel that Graham Rahal actually won, coming to the checkered flag. And if you get a chance to go back on YouTube and see that race, That is an awesome race, and it's probably one of the better examples of the new Indy style cars, and that was probably in the DW12s, that they can still do pack racing and do it safely.
Yeah, it was actually the DW12, but with the manufacturer aero kits, the Chevy and the Honda. But anyway, we're about to be going to the grid here, so let's go ahead and pull up our grid for tonight.
Starting from the pole with a speed of 227.675, Rob Powers. Aside him is his teammate from Kinetic America Sport, Daniel B. Johnson. Back in row 2 is Brian Halleck and Matt Gilder. Robert DeLope and Ernie Ludwig are in positions 5 and 6. Maurice Gomillion and Zachary Brown in 7 and 8. And Chris Yetito and Daniel Davis are in positions 9 and 10 for the Forge team.
So in 11th, we have Greg McEnany. In 12th, Dominic Warwick. And in 13th, Jeff Cardamone, our winner of that Bathurst 500 race we had a couple weeks ago. Stephen Paulson in 14th. Nathan Medina in 15th. He had a strong race, but had a mistake early on in Bathurst and ended up coming back into the top 5, though, after dropping back to about 25th position. So good run by him last race. Joey Haynes in 16th. 17th is Rob Courtney. Don Dolson in 18th. 19th is Ronald McPherson and Carl Burke rounding out the top 20.
As the Ford Mustang gets the gridded field behind them and starts to pull out for turn 1, we have a large field here tonight, and it's not just one of those IndyCar races you see on the regular iRacing feeds that have like 10, 15 guys. No. We got 33 of them, and starting on 21st is Gerald Gilbert, followed by Mark McFadden, Jonathan Diggs, Brian Scribner in 24th, Robert Covey and George Angus in 25 and 26, Jason McSparron in 27th, Ronald Overbay in 28th, Casey Sawich in 29th, Timothy Klaus in 30th, and rounding out the last 3 spots, David Anderson, Jeremy Testar, and Earl McColgan.
And we have that Mustang pace car, like you said, Gary. Rounding the backstretch, we have that Kinetic Racing machines, both in the front row here, and a Forge machine in the 3rd place there. A lot of Forge cars out here tonight, a lot of Kinetic America Sport cars out here tonight. We're going to have a difficult time figuring out who's who out here tonight as they round the 4th corner.
Pace car is in, and with the call for this year's California 500 in the Major Series, over to you.
Rob Powers takes the lead. We have a bit of a spread out field going. These guys have 250 laps here. It looks like they're all through turn 1, mostly. Some pack racing out there in the back. Everybody safely through.
3 wide, some places 4 wide. They're ducking in and tucking in the first 4, trying to break away, which is probably a wise thing. You're not going to win this on the first lap anyways. Into turn 3 and 4, and we're already back around to about to complete the first lap. It's just that quick.
And we have Rob Powers leading our first lap. We has his teammate Johnson on the outside, heading through turn 1, side by side. Hugging that low line. That low line might, eat up the tires just a little bit more than some of these guys in the back, running a little bit higher on the course.
Well, these guys are well skilled, and one of the things that you often see in sim racing with lesser skilled drivers is when they get down to that white line, they clip that apron and they end up getting loose and taking out a whole swath of cars behind them. If I was them, I'd give a little extra room there too. They're up to speed now. Powers just crossed the start finish line, 2:20.462 for lap 1 or lap 2.
Looking back in the field, we have Jeff Cardamone, one of those Forge entries. Actually, that's not a Forge entry, pardon me. Stephen Paulson might be back here. But we have way in the back, we have Rob Courtney leading a gaggle of cars. You can throw a blanket over them in the back as well, from about 17th to 30th place.
Now we're at lap 4, and we got cars searching for clean air already. We got the leaders 2x2 side by side. I'm not sure how long they really want to stay that way. But they're probably on their private net. They probably want to get get out of that side by side and tuck in and start probably pulling away. You don't want that other group to come up and start challenging and everyone's side by side all over again, and then that bites the second group to come back in. So it's always good to get organized, get tucked in, and start breaking away. This is a long race, and you want as much track position as possible.
And it looks like Daniel Johnson ends up taking the lead over Rob Powers. So they finally kind of get some order in that Kinetic Sport team. As I hear, we've got a caution on the track here. We'll see who it is. Slow cars. I heard a crunch from the back. I see, let's see. Is that Nathan Medina? It looks like it is Nathan Medina. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened to him.
Wow, his car is messed up. I don't know.
There will be no fast repairs, no backup cars, and we had backup cars a couple weeks ago in Bathurst there, Gary, but none here tonight. So we'll get a replay of this incident.
This is a California 500, not the US 500.
Oh, it looks like Nathan Medina just goes up the track. That was in front of one of the Forge cars. That Forge car might have taken a little bit of damage, but Nathan Medina certainly taking the worst of that out of the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, he has a crumpled nose. Rear wing is in some terrible shape. We checked his in-car, and he's got his wheel at a 90-degree angle just to keep her straight. If his crew could repair that in the virtual world, more power to him. But this might be the end of his day. And unfortunately, that's a really short 500-mile race, only after 5 laps.
Yeah, about 10 miles into the California 500. We've run 6 laps now, and we are under caution here. So speaking of tonight's race, is one of our sponsors for tonight's race is Susan G. Komen. So Susan G. Komen saves lives by meeting the most critical needs in our communities and investing in breakthrough research and preventing and curing breast cancer. So visit www.komen.org, that's komen.org, to donate today.
Yeah, one of my former bosses in the IT world, that's my profession, she's a survivor. My wife's sorority, Zeta Tau Alpha, Susan G. Komen is their main philanthropic organization. Great company, it's a great organization, worthy of your time and money. Give them a look at the website they just gave you, and dig deep in those pockets and contribute if you can, because research needs every penny they can to help cure breast cancer.
Indeed. Really good organization there and a really good cause. So we have Daniel Johnson's our current leader. We are under caution. Somebody in the chat is saying that there is one fast repair here tonight. I was not aware of that reading the rules. I knew we had 10 fresh tires for the drivers out of here tonight. Certainly going to be part of their strategy.
Well, I'm showing Nathan Medina. He's in the pits, but I don't see the timer running on him anymore. So
I think he's out of the pits then. Yeah. Or is he still on the track?
Oh, there he is. He's at the tail end.
And
so he did get the fast repair. Lucky him. And now he's got to drive extra careful.
Yes, he does. He's got to run another 242 laps without touching the wall or anything like that. Certainly hit a little bit of, I don't know, I looking at that accident, it didn't look like it was aero push or anything like that. It just simply looked like he drifted up the track. Usually you get that with some aero push, but I didn't quite see that.
Yeah, he's got a really nice looking carbon fiber livery going on there. But hey, Nathan, we're rooting for you, man. We figure you can make it the remainder of the way without any misfortune. So keep it between the lines, buddy.
Yeah, like I was saying, during the grid, he was one of our strong runners at Bathurst. Very early on, he did make a mistake and then dropped him back to about 25th position. He's a Team Dynasty, is his team, but he made it back up to the top 5, I believe, in the end. He was either that or the top 6, so a strong run for him in the end.
Coming to green, and the drivers take the normal high protection position up on the banking, so no one can pass them on the right side when it goes green. Standard defensive tactic. The Mustang pace car takes a pull onto pit road, and we are back to green.
Green flag.
Nice jump. Nice jump.
Yeah, I can see that. We're really kind of honestly spread out there. Looking back in the field, we've got some action, maybe about 15th position, some cars going too wide by there. We have Carl Burke on the outside, or on the inside of one of the Forge cars. Looks like that's Dominic Warwick. So I saw that Dominic there joining the Forge development team. We've got 3 levels of Forge out here tonight. We have Forge Gold, Forge Silver, and Forge Development. Strong teams here in the Majors Series.
Johnson maintains the lead coming out of turn 2. He is definitely holding it down low, and it looks like he's holding on to what I call that typical IRL line, which is right on the inside, everywhere on the track on the white line. That is the shortest and quickest way around, and you got to make the guys go around the top side, and if you're not prepared to work up top, you're not going to pass them. That's
right. So actually, I just saw him touch that apron just ever so slightly. So apparently, though, the apron is sort of off limits unless you're forced down there. There might have been a little bit of controversy in a race earlier today regarding the apron being used, but I don't know the specifics of that particular incident. But we'll keep an eye out, especially as this race continues into the night here at Auto Club Speedway.
I wonder how open that apron's going to be come last lap, and you got 4 cars going for the checker.
That's right, Gary. You know how it goes.
I've been down there before.
So our winner from 2 weeks ago, Jeff Cardamone, I see he's moved from 13th to 10th back here. So a good run for him, just steady. Everybody's kind of keeping it clean. We had that one incident at lap 5, but for the most part, I feel like these drivers are just kind of taking it easy, waiting for night to fall, and that's when things are going to get real crazy here.
Looks like we have a car pulling into the pits early. Didn't catch the name on that, but I don't know if he's experiencing problems or maybe just going to see if he can undercut on pitting going on here. But the Kinetic America Sport Team has 3 of the top 5 drivers going on right now. And you have Forge is keeping close contact in the top 5, but it's the big powerhouse teams occupying those first 5 positions coming out of turn 4.
So these teams, this is open setups, so these teams are highly working on these setups each and every week, and it's not easy to do because these cars, they're running a variety of different cars out here. In this series. 2 weeks ago, they were running the supercars. Weeks before that, they even ran Lotus 49s at, I think it was at Road America. So, all different kinds of sorts of cars. They've ran Silver Crowns during this season.
Yeah, I like the open setup format. I wish more of the leagues would do more open setup participation and have open setup rules. It really reminds me of my roots when I started IndyCar racing. That was with back in the 90s with the IndyCar Racing 2, which you also played yourself, Matt. There was no such thing as a fixed setup. You had to tweak every bit of the car yourself. And keep in mind also, IndyCar Racing by Papyrus is the basically successor to everything you see here in iRacing.
That's right. And speaking, I know that Chris Yatito here, running in 7th, he's kind of fighting with his other Forge teammates back here, and basically from 6th to 9th. He's one of the gurus at that Forge team in regards to setups here.
Yeah, I like the open setup concept again, and it invites a different style of racing that a lot of people. Looks like 8th place got really close to the wall. They have to catch a name here later. But it invites a different brand of racing. Pack racing is great and exciting when you're at Talladega and Daytona, when you're in a NASCAR. It's exciting when you're wheel to wheel for Indy cars as well. But at some point, you really want to see the better drivers be able to pull away and get some space in between them, and don't invite, caution after caution and lap after lap of yellow. Who wants to see a bunch of cars in line on a yellow lap? We want to see racing. We want to see speed. We want to see 200 miles per hour.
Well, let's not jinx anything there, Gary.
Well, actually, my ability to jinx has been pretty good lately, so fingers crossed, knocking on all sorts of wood and substances here.
So I saw Ernie Ludwig, another one of the Kinetic drivers, for a moment took over the lead up here at the front. I think we have, is that 3 Kinetic cars running 1, 2, 3? Then they're followed by Robert Deloach in 4th and 5th, Brian Halleck, 2 Forge cars, and then another gaggle of Forge cars in 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then we have Matt Gelder in the 9th position.
Yeah, you think, and I think that second group of Forge cars is actually getting organized. They're probably on their own private nets, probably encouraging each other to stay in line so they can catch back up to the leaders. It does you no good to do side-by-side racing, like we said. It looks exciting here, but when they're in the cars, they really want to be tucked in behind someone for better fuel mileage. And
as we have, I don't know who that was, but somebody went really high there. It was Matt Gelder. And he is flipping down the back straightaway, and he's still going over and over. This is one of the crazier flips that I've seen, and I don't think he's going to be able to get this car back to the pits for that fast repair. Let's get a quick replay of what just happened there.
He goes right to toe. Goes right to toe.
Yeah, so that's going to set him back a couple laps at least, if not more. So we are under caution again. Once again, lap 20 here at Auto Club Speedway, California 500. So let's get a replay here.
It's a little, while you killed the replay, it's just a little too early to pit. It's going to be a really tough call for these teams. The window is 35 to 40. We're at lap 20. You're halfway through your run. Do you pit now? Maybe the people from 10th place on back or some decide to pit. But you're really in that tweener spot of, do I pit or do I not pit? Do I stay out? And then all of a sudden we have a long green flag run and I have to pit up.
So Matt Gelder, we had a look at his replay there, and he just understeers coming out of turn 2. We're going to do an onboard with him. We're back at Waze. This is the previous heading across start finish at the moment.
Another car got collected in that somehow.
Yeah, I did see one car.
He got clipped.
So Gelder wasn't following anybody. He just all of a sudden runs up the track like he had no steering all of a sudden. Heading back to live pictures, we have Johnson and the leaders are on pit lane.
Yep. They're going to pit. Take the opportunity. Fresh rubber and some fuel. Yeah, I wonder what happened there. Is it arrow push? I mean, it seems too far away for arrow push. But hey, as the rule goes, if you can see the car in front of you, you can probably get some effect of its aerodynamics impacting you one form or another. Maybe it was an arrow push. Who knows?
So we have Ron McPherson, one of the Forge cars, has taken over the lead. Nathan Medina, our first car that caused an incident, that early caution on lap 5, stayed out. He's maintained his lap, and he is in second position at the moment.
It looks like we probably have 2 cars that'll get a wave around here.
Yeah, that's right. So Johnson, our leader from earlier, is going to take over the 6th position. So those first 5 cars at least are for position.
McPherson choosing to pit now.
He might have been choosing to get one of those laps led, maybe some bonus points out there for him to get.
Well, there is strategy there, yeah.
Yeah, there is. And Medina's going to take over and get one of those laps led. We'll have to see what he decides to do if he tries to stay out here. As we see some cars, the pace car lights go out, and I don't think he's going to be pitting here. He's going to be trying to lead us back.
I don't know if McPherson was having a hard time finding his pit or stall or something, but he spent a long time driving down that concrete portion of pit lane, trying to find a spot. I don't know if there was some troubles there. Okay, I see what's going on. He had damage. There was a right front wing damage, so he is getting some repair done right now. So that possibly is going to be why he was having, he chose the pit then, and he's having a long pit stop now.
You said that was McPherson?
Yes, McPherson.
So that might have been the car that got collected in that accident that we just saw.
And he is down and away, so they got the damage visually repaired. But as even in real racing, and as iRacing goes, there's always the danger of the damage unseen. He might feel like he's at 100%, and then all of a sudden he's going to have to change his bars 180 degrees just to keep the car going straight because there's damage some other place that they can't quite repair.
And you have to wonder if he ends up, like, you don't want to use your fast repair for something small like that. You're going to let the crew repair that. As we come back to green, Nathan Medina leads us.
Yeah, that might be what he was doing coming into the pits as well. He might have been searching through his black boxes to uncheck, and he might have got a black flag leading the pits there as an unsafe pit exit. So he's coming back on the pit road for probably to serve a black flag. But he probably might have been going through his black boxes there to try to find that check box and uncheck it. But back up to the front, we got our first caution of the day. I believe it's Medina leading the way, right? Oh, we got Johnson
Daniel
now.
Johnson's going around him on the outside, followed by Rob Powers. So those kinetic cars powering through back to the front.
But it's like getting teamed up on in a WWF handicap match. He's not going to win this battle. He's got teammates all around him. Hold your line and hope for the best.
That's right. He's got his lap led, and you just want to, as he sees these guys get around him, he's just going to want to think about how can I hold on to this group going forward. Hold on to these kinetic cars and these forged cars.
As long as he can stay in the draft, he should be okay. But if I'm these other drivers, I'm on the radio with my teammate telling him where to go so I can get the draft and not this other guy, so I can make my way around. Also, this track is extremely bumpy. So if they're going to force him down to a position where he might have to go a little bit slower or has some aero issues because of the bumps, they can do that to him as well. But it looks like the three kinetic cars have finally broken loose, and they are now amongst themselves, 1, 2, 3, coming out of turn 4 down the main straight.
One thing we have to keep in mind with Medina is we saw him get that aero push earlier in the race, and now he's back in traffic. So these cars going around him on the high side, they might be thinking that I want to pass this guy on the inside rather than the outside.
Well, you have said that he's a skilled driver. And I think if he didn't win a previous major series event some other place, most people are like, I'm kind of leery about this guy. I'm going to give him a wide berth. I don't think they necessarily would have to feel that level of intrepidation. But he's probably got his hands full in the cockpit. He's probably changing those bars and working on that weight jacker just to keep the car under control if he's got any other damage from that wreck.
As I saw McPherson, our lapped car from earlier, we mentioned having that black flag penalty, most likely getting repairs. He just got lapped again, and he kind of steered out of the way for everybody to get by.
Yeah, that's some good etiquette on his part.
That's right. As we have Daniel Johnson still leading.
Johnson's last lap, 2:20.492. Ludwig, 2:20.637.
Yeah, there's got to be some strategy here with these teams. The guy, setting the pace, he's going to be burning more fuel than anybody else out here, and he might want to swap back and forth with his other teammates, to not be the first guy ended up going out on the pit road here whenever we get to green flag pit stops. But at the moment, it doesn't look like he's looking to get rid of that lead anytime soon.
Well, I'm guessing Johnson's probably in fifth gear, So I'm guessing his guys behind him are in probably a little bit more of a fuel-saving gear of 6. So in my experience, when you start running in a two-car test, a lead car can get as little as 2 laps less than the car behind in fuel mileage on these type of tracks. So in other words, the lead car is going to have to pit 2 laps earlier or more than the cars behind him. So you don't really want to have that disadvantage, because over a period of 500 miles, when you're stopping 10 times, 12 times maybe, that adds up very quickly, and that's a lot of lost room on the racetrack, a lot of track position lost.
We had a car get really loose, kind of dive onto the apron. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a Forge car. I think it might have been Maurice Gomillion, because he's dropped back kind of significantly in the last lap or so. It was at the top of the screen, so I couldn't quite tell who it was, but he's back in 21st at the moment, and he looks like he's just getting that car underneath him at the moment. He might have had a Code Brown moment there for a second.
Bobby Unser would be proud. Code Brown, yep.
But he looks like he's back up to speed at the moment and going to be setting his sights on the cars ahead of him.
So if you're watching this for the first time and you're not really familiar with IndyCar, you're more familiar with, say, something like NASCAR. IndyCars have a lot of tools that they can use inside the car to help with their adjustments during the race. Now, because this is open setup, they can have additional adjustments what they have in the pit with adjustments to the wings, and also they can change air pressure in the tires and that type of thing. But inside the car, they'll have what is called the front roll bar and the front anti-roll bar and the rear anti-roll bar, and those will help the car with rotation, either help it be more loose or help it be more tight. Those are for a little bit more major changes in the car. For a more subtle change, they have something called the weight jacker, which basically controls the spring of the right rear. And that's often what they're really going to be dialing in and out of, back and forth of, inside the cockpit, is the weight jacker. Now, if they're having a really bad day, they're going to be changing their weight bars more often than the weight jacker.
That's right. We both have experience working with all that kind of stuff, don't we, Gary?
You're having a really bad day if you have to play with those tools.
Yeah. We just had one of the Forge cars. He got wide. He's running down the straightaway there in the grass. I'm trying to grab who that is. I think it might have been Chris Iatito. Trying to find him on my board because he dropped back so far. Did you catch that one, Gary?
No, I missed that.
No, it was not Chris Iatito, but there was a Forge car. I mean, I'm having difficulty figuring out who these Forge cars are because there's so many of them on the track. But we had a Forge car gather it together down and mow the apron there down the front straightaway. No caution, though.
Now, Forge can send the bill to Roger Penske for the lawn care.
That's right. Well, no, he doesn't own this track anymore. This is an ISC track, right? Or is it? I think it's ISC, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, but if you look at all the records, just like Indianapolis, he pretty much owns the place.
That's right. Now, if we could just have him re-own the place and prevent them from bulldozing this place, that would be great.
That is such a shame. You know, California had Riverside, it gets bulldozed. California had Ontario, it gets bulldozed. Thankfully, this track is preserved in iRacing, so we'll forever have it, but this one's going to get bulldozed. I guess we can chalk that up to the prices of California real estate. Lex Luthor's right. It's all about real estate. That's
right. Maybe there's a chance that they don't go forward with that, but I have to imagine they probably will. So I do believe that the site of this track, Gary, is actually the site of some old U.S. steel mills. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, it was some type of industrial. I believe it was a refinery. If it was a Chevron refinery, possibly. I could be wrong. But yeah, this is a former industrial site that got some green dollars to be dumped into it, and they put it into the racetrack first. But hey, man, it's California, and prices of real estate are just abnormally obnoxious out there. So for some reason, NASCAR thinks they need another short track. Okay, whatever. And so they're going to chop this place up in an apparent act of stupidity, in my opinion.
Well, I will say that the short track they're building does look cool, but I think it could just be built in the middle of this track, like somewhere, there's plenty of space where the road course is. That's probably just used for SCCA kind of events. There's plenty of room in there to build a short oval, or heck, put it in that apron that we just saw that driver mowing down earlier in the race.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that a racetrack has reconfigured itself to be used in multi-purposes. I don't know why they can't do it. I mean, Indianapolis freaking has a dirt track in turn 3. Certainly they could put a short track in the infield here somewhere and accommodate that particular need. Hell, if you could turn freaking Charlotte Motor Speedway into a road course, you could certainly keep a 2-mile oval here and have the guys run in the middle on a short track if they want to. But we're just venting frustrations because this is a great track, and it's a sad shame to see it go.
That's right. As Johnson still leads, he's got his teammate following just behind him. That's Rob Powers, Club Indiana. So Rob's got some IndyCar in his veins in Club Indiana.
Yes.
Ernie Ludwig, also another kinetic car. I thought we might have had another car, but then we have Chris Giatito up to 4th for these gaggle of Forge cars. He's leading the run for those 3 cars there.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a breakaway. He's got himself just over a half-second lead, about 0.7 of a second. So that's actually a pretty big distance. Most of the time you don't see the Indy cars getting that far away. We are 42 laps in, so we're 20 laps or so after their last pit stops. The good of the tires, as they say, the goodie on the tires is probably worn off at this point. Those that have the better setup are the ones that are breaking away, and it looks like the Kinetic team is... that's the benefit of having teammates, is sharing information and data. And when you guys can share the setup information and it works for you, you break away while the rest kind of struggle behind you.
So we were talking about it being hard to identify some of these different team drivers, as I see Chris Giatito going inside of Ernie Ludwig. But Chris Giatito's car there is pretty easy to spot because he's the Forge car with this kind of neon green rims. Very easy to spot compared to his teammates there. So we appreciate him making his car identifiable in some sort of way out there on the track.
Yeah, he is definitely throwing fate to the wind. I don't know if he's aware of the green color superstition of race car drivers. He's got the rims, he's got the helmet, apparently doesn't care. Might as well throw a number 13 on the car if he's going to be that blatant about it.
Well, we had, I'm trying to think, an IndyCar. Who was it that last ran number 13? I believe it was EJ Viso, and he had some green on that car. It was a PDVSA car, I believe, so...
Yeah, I think before him it was Greg Ray for a while, so... but I don't think they run a lot of it, and Indy drivers, period, just tend to be a little superstitious, and frankly, I don't blame them. I mean, it's a dangerous sport, and anything that can get your mind in the right frame, please go ahead and do so, because you just don't need, you want all the luck in the world to be behind you in some of these races in the real world. In the virtual world, not so much, but still, green, you can still get the bad bug that way too, though.
So I can see Ernie Ludwig is in 5th now. He's kind of lost his teammates, those first and second teammates for Kinetic Sport there. I can tell he's struggling with his tires a little bit. So I mean, these guys have been on their tires for about 25 laps. Only about 10 more laps before we might see another pit stop here. You might have green flag pit stops.
They're going around a slower car down the backstretch into turn 3. Ludwig is taking it right down to the white line in turns 1 and 2. He's taking a more medium line in 3 and 4. I would say if he was probably having a bad handling car, he wouldn't be down so low in turns 1 and 2. He might just be handling better at one end of the track versus the other, because geometry and science actually have the cars coming in a slightly different angle.
As we have a Forge car. He saved it, though.
Wow.
That was Zachary Brown. Oh, he's not quite saved it. I called it too soon. He lost it on the apron there on the back straightaway. No caution yet. No caution yet. I think he's going to hope he caused the caution, but we're still green.
Yeah, did he just clip the apron?
Yeah, but he has significant damage on that car. So let's have a quick look at what happened there. He just lost it on his own, I think. Struggling for tires here. He kind of goes around one of his teammates. His other Forge teammate. They almost took out each other here, so very lucky.
Yeah, he's got a bad nose cone.
Yeah, he just hit the apron, and then he tries to get back on the track, and he loses it getting back on the track, so he's on pit lane now. So back to our lead. Daniel Johnson leads still.
Yeah, and he might have some tray damage for coming off the banking that abruptly, too. Indy cars don't like to bend.
No, they do not. I have to imagine he's probably going to take that fast repair since this is a green flag pit stop. You know, he might be okay because of that. I mean, it's certainly not good that what just happened, but with everybody about to do green flag pit stops, he might not, lose a lap actually here. Hey, here's a big mover out here, Gary. I just noticed Carl Burke started 20th, and he's currently running in 6th. And he's got a team, but he's the only one out here in that team. He's on Atlas Finishers Racing. It's a good run by him.
Yeah, sometimes when you're by yourself, you want to make friends. And maybe before the race, he's like talking to other guys like, hey, man, do you mind if I tuck in behind you? Can I follow you? Sometimes the racers will allow that. If you're a particularly clean racer, you'll find other drivers are really willing to work with you. But sometimes, the drafting skill and a better setup gets you going. He might have one of those setups as he's getting ready to make a move on one of the kinetic cars. He might have one of those setups that really just comes to you late in the run.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that's exactly what's happening. This is Ernie Ludwig on the kinetic car there on the outside. He's the one that I said he might be struggling on his tires, but based on his line, who knows? He just might be faster in the early runs, and Carl's here is a little bit faster on the long runs.
Burke 215.210 that last time around. Power is your leader, 216.182. So they are starting to come down in speed. You remember the 220s to start when they had the fresh tires. Now they're about 4 miles per hour off in some cases.
Yeah, so it's a significant tire wear. As Powers here is coming to lap a car here, he kind of just threads the needle between those lapped cars.
A lot of times in these races, you often hear drivers on the private net letting others know that they're coming, or that the drivers that are getting ready to be passed, that they let the leader know they see them coming. They normally have to keep an eye on the differential, which is one of the black boxes they can have running, or an overlay from one of the many race apps out there. It's always good to keep an eye on that. Drivers that work together tend to finish races better. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. They might be doing some communicating amongst each other, and that's probably a good thing. And the leaders really want that. And for the major series in general, you want to have a race that's green as possible, and not a bunch of yellows and a caution fest.
Yeah, I mean, we're heading into the night here, and so far we've been pretty good. We had a couple cautions early, but we are just a handful of laps away from what should be green flag stops.
Yeah, they got a big shadow over the tri-oval area, but when they round turn 3 and start heading into the 4 and back into tri-oval, they're going to have the sun kind of staring them back in the face. And it's iRacing, so they're not going to be horribly blinded or anything, but what it kind of does is it kind of puts a visual sheen over the asphalt, and it kind of hides the groove a little bit. So you kind of got to make sure that muscle memory kind of leads you, or you follow certain grooves in the asphalt, as you see on the video here, where you can see multiple lanes because it's groove in the way that they paved it. That they follow those particular lines to kind of uses their markers in the groove. But that sun in turn 3 and 4 will start to obscure the racing line a little bit until it goes down.
So again, was looking at Carl Burke here. He's now in the 5th position, starting 20th. We're just kind of going through the field here at the moment. We're running some kind of static cams and seeing these cars going around at over 215 miles an hour as a car goes really wide in turn 4, but he keeps it off the wall.
I want to draw attention to our 7th place driver, number 89, Joey Haynes. He is currently purple on the charts at a 32.004. So he is your fastest car, or at least your fastest lap so far in this race.
Yeah, started 16th.
Only 57 laps in.
So he's on the team Unorthodox Eclipse. He's got a couple other teammates out here, I believe, or I'm not seeing them at the moment, but I know at the Bathurst race, he had a couple teammates out here in that race.
I really like that livery. It kind of reminds me of the 2005, 6, 7, 8 Team Sauber Formula One livery with the kind of the color choices they have. That's pretty slick. I like that.
Yeah, the Petronas one that I think I want to say, well, it was actually earlier than the years you were saying, but like Raikkonen had started on that team at the Sauber team, and he ran that livery before he moved to McLaren. So
yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've showed that to you before. That's definitely one of my favorites. It just has kind of all the bright colors in all the right spaces, but very similar there. And it's a great looking livery. And when the lights come on, then that should really shine, because that's kind of looks like it's got a vac metal finish. So great work by those teams' artists. And that should be pointed out. A lot of teams spend a great deal of time making their cars look good, because if you can't be fast, you might as well look good doing it.
That's right, and even more on these teams is they have to make a livery across all these different cars that they're running, and they keep them consistent. I can tell you, Gary, I know you didn't watch the Bathurst race. I did that one on my own, but these liveries, they had them on the supercars. They looked excellent there as well, and they're very similar on these IR18s. Oh, we've got a caution
on the track
right before our green flag pit stops.
Well, good timing for the leaders, but anyone that ducked in just in the last lap or so, that is some bad luck.
Do you have any thoughts on who that is out there that might have brought out that caution? I'm trying to see if I can figure out who it might be. It's a little tough. We've actually have 35 starters in this race, Gary. I know our grid only went to 33, but we had a couple extras out here tonight.
Yeah, we have 18 on the lead lap, as it looked like, and I think Angus and Klaus and Tester, McGeaney, Overbay, Kobe, looking at their being one lap down, they might have got caught pitting early and now are kind of stuck because the yellow came out after their stop, and that now they got to use strategy or hope to be the wave around.
Well, we're only, what are we, a little bit more than 20% through this race, so.
Hey, look, we've seen Jacques Villeneuve come from 2 laps down to win the Indy 500, folks. It's not impossible. You don't always need the wave around. You just need to be you have a really good strategy, and it worked for him in 95, and maybe it'll work for someone here tonight in 2020.
It looks like we've got just about everybody in that top 18 coming into the pit lane here. Rob Power's our leader.
They're probably like, give me some new tires, give me some new rubber, fill me up. Then they're not only when they're getting into the pits, not only are they're not really resting. They're resetting their weight jacker, they're resetting their front bar, their rear bar. It's not just I'm going to park, rest for a couple of seconds, and go. It's a busy stop, and again, these guys are definitely sharp as it comes, and they're probably. Looking to make some adjustments to help their cars handle better as we get into the night, because the atmospheric conditions are going to change and the track's going to change.
Yeah, just generally speaking, as the track temperatures go down, the ambient temperatures go down, these cars are just going to get a little bit more downforce just because of the temperature and the pressure because of all that, and not to mention iRacing very sensitive these cars are to track temperature. So with no track temperature like that's going to be going to like the minimum track temperature. This tire grip is going to be even more than it was earlier in this race, and that setup might need to be adjusted just slightly from all of that.
I think the concern there is coming up to speed with fresh tires and being that they're cold. Your car is probably going to be a little bit loose in turns 1 and 2, and maybe even in turn 3. Hopefully by the time it's turn 4, you got enough heat generated so you feel pretty stable. But some of those drivers ducking into turn 1 at the restart might be a little bit of, and we're 1 lap to green, might be a little of kind of putting the faith in fate in face hand and seeing what happens.
So before we go green, I was going to do a shout out here. So to Majors Garage, one of our sponsors tonight. So at Majors Garage, you can find free current setups for over 40 vehicles on the iRacing service. Their crew chiefs are pro-level experts in the cars they build for, and visit www.majorsgarage.com. You can find all the links for everything here in the description of the video. I might have added an extra W on that on that address there, Gary.
They'll just get a 404. That's okay. But the key word in all that is free. Free.
That's right.
And typically those free setups are, if you're kind of searching and you don't know really what to do and you need a place to start, those are the setups that they offer for free. And if you want something a little bit more particularly dialed in, you'll have to pay for that. But it's a great service they offer. And take advantage of it if you think that it's going to help you out. We're getting ready to come to green. We got our leader getting into the defensive position up near the wall, and they're coming out of turn 4. He's got a little bit of room behind him and the next car, so I don't know if the next car is going to close up or what. But and there he goes. He gets a big jump.
Yeah, he's got a big jump.
Big jump. Okay, so what this is going to have. And to borrow a term from Bobby Unser when he talks about the Michigan races, this is like a big flywheel. And so the flywheel that, the first time they come around, it's not as fast as the next time it comes around. So these cars really take about a lap and a half to really get up the full song. So they're coming around at full 220 miles per hour the next time they cross the start finish line. This first lap through, they're probably going to, the average speed's like 195, 196, something like that. But what's going to happen is that other car behind him is going to get to that slipstream and set right back up into his, right underneath his rear attenuator there, and is going to be right back with him as soon as, just about as quickly as he left him. So getting a jump doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to break away and pull away.
Just doing an onboard here with Carl Burke here in 4th. You can see ahead Rob Powers really checking out really quickly there, but you can see a little bit of that sunshine heading into the turns 3 and 4. Not as big of a problem. It probably was a bigger problem earlier in the race, but not as big of a problem now.
Yeah, John, looks like Powers with a half-second lead over
he took it up to almost a second, but certainly these cars packed together, they're going to run them down. They have fresh tires.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I mean, just like NASCAR racing, when you get multiple cars running together, they're going to be faster than a single car running by himself. And so that big jump really just did nothing but buy him a little time where he's by himself. The other cars get organized and they're right back up on him here 2 or 3 laps later. Look, if we were a lap 2, let's say 247 or something, that would have been a good move. At lap 67, it just allows the guys behind them to work a little bit extra harder, I guess.
Yeah, and really it helps the rest of the cars in the field really just kind of spread out and get everybody going. And, we don't want cautions breeding cautions. So it kind of helps with that when the leader gets going early and gets that good jump.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of wait for the green. That's not IndyCar racing anyways. IndyCar racing, oh gosh, he's got I just noticed he's got a Van Halen helmet on. That's the helmet I use. So go Rob Powers. You got some great taste there, my friend. But yeah, I know some of the IndyCar leagues that we participate in want us to wait to green, and it's just, You're on top of one another. I don't know why you want to do that. IndyCar racing in the real world is they let that pace car get way the hell out in front of them, and they have the pit call the green for them, and they're at full song even before they get out of turn 4 at Indianapolis. So that's the way I like it when they come to green. And when they come to green, the track's green. You don't have to pass on the left or right side. You can pass wherever you want.
Yeah, we've certainly seen IndyCar try that previously, but it's kind of never worked, and they always went back to let the leader decide when, where they're gonna. They've earned the privilege to start wherever they want to start, and personally, I prefer that myself.
Remember when they tried to start in double file? They used to do double file restarts for that, 1 year or so at Indy. That was really weird.
I think that was from the brain work of Randy Bernard, who he did a good job as a CEO, but he's trying to build some momentum for the series. Maybe didn't have the drivers always in mind when doing such a thing. So, but certainly tried to do something.
I was at the 500 when they did it, and it certainly had the fans excited. But if I was one of those drivers, I'd be like, man, I do not want to be next to this person that's beside me right now.
Yeah, you could tell those cars on that high line were not happy.
No. No.
I think Dario Franchitti probably had some things to say to. He probably jumped out of the car and went up to Randy and gave him some thoughts about that. Oh, we had a car just sneaking. That was... we have Joey Haynes. He went on the apron, and now he is... Wow.
He's recovered.
He's recovered, but that front wing does not look healthy, and he's got cars... There was a pretty big gap back, too, because he's only gone back to 9th now. There was a big gap had developed already. But, yeah, that front wing does not look good.
Yeah, he cannot stay out there that long. Ooh, he almost pushes up into that Forge car.
Yes, he did.
That's the problem. What he's got going on now is he's going to be down on power, down on downforce. He's getting freight trained as it is. You're better off just pitting now, and so you can rip the Band-Aid off. That's kind of what we got in this case. Is minimize the damage, pit now. He's probably got maybe if he has a spotter, kind of eyeing the damage, seeing what's going on. And he's probably thinking about next time by lining up for pit road.
Yeah, I've got on board with Mark McFadden, who's behind him. He's actually doing okay considering he's got that bent up front wing. He's actually stayed out.
Hayes last lap 190. Now he's back up to 212, so I guess it's not that high.
I think he might be praying for a caution to come out and save him. But usually from my own, they don't show up when you want them,
Yeah, sometimes divine intervention works, and other times it doesn't. Let's see how well he is given at the altar of the racing gods.
Yeah, he's holding off 14th, though, so good on him. I guess that, let me check. Joey Haynes, what team is he
Last
from?
lap by, 2:17.404. Not one of the fastest, but certainly not one of the slowest, so he's at full song. Maybe, possibly, he's got it able to adjusted with his roll bars. Well, all that's going to do is just really wear the tires out even more quickly. So he's getting... it looks like the cars behind him are getting ready to eat him up here again. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, those tires.
That's a great looking livery in that car getting ready to pass him. That's McFadden with that. I've seen him in some iRacing series races with that Apple TV livery. I love that livery. That is a great looking livery.
So he started 22nd. He is one of our independent drivers out here, so he can run whatever livery he wants out here tonight. So he gets around. So going back to Joey there, though, with that bent up front wing, that's just going to be scrubbing the tires even more. But he's doing a good job.
Well, he's got his teammate next to him here, coming up here. So maybe his teammate's going to give him an eye, saying, "Hey, here's your problem. What's going on?" He's still going, and we'll see. Back up at the front, though, Powers is still churning off laps at 2:18. But we have Yatito at 2:20.337, and behind him Johnson at 2:20.526. So the leaders are not They're not waiting for anybody else.
Yeah, so I mean, Chris Yatito there, kind of the setup guru from Forge, he split the Kinetic America cars earlier, and then Robert DeLoach also coming up in that Forge car to the third place of Kinetic America car. So we've got Kinetic America, we've got Forge, then Kinetic America, then Forge. So no longer a gaggle of single teams at the front of this field.
Starting to space themselves nicely. I guess at this point, you got to start thinking about your next round of stops, because you're in that period where you start thinking about, what am I going to do if we go yellow now? Or, what should I push, or should I duck in behind somebody? Because we're in the doldrum laps of a 500-mile-per-hour race, right in the heart. Where it's like, this is where the people in the stands get up to go get that piece of chicken from the concession stand, because it's just lap after lap, and there's nothing really horribly exciting going on. And believe me, if it's not exciting for you fans, it's definitely not exciting for them in the car.
Yeah, I'm thinking turkey leg there, Gary. So looking, Jeff Cardamone, our victor from Bathurst, has moved up into the 6th position. He started 13th, so good run for him. A little bit different livery, yeah.
Yeah, Haynes still with the purple lap at 32.004, so no one's been able to meet that.
And that was our car that had the broken front wing, right?
Yes.
So
but that was set prior to the damage.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't set with the broken front wing. If it was, you might have a bunch of cars trying to figure out how they could damage their front wing during this race.
Brake check. Looks like we got a kinetic car down, slow down low on turns 3 and 4, and it looks like they're heading for the pit.
Oh, I see that. Not sure who that is.
Earl. Is that Earl?
Could be. Well, yeah, I see. Well, I see Earl on the pit lane. It's not Earl.
Okay.
It was somebody else. Earl was on the pit lane. You're right about that. So we've got like way back in 28th position, Casey Sawich running the Aero kind of McLaren looking livery, but he's running in 28th position.
That might be Ernie Ludwig. That's Ernie Ludwig in the 16 car.
Okay. He was one of our top runners early on the pit lane.
Yeah, he started 6th. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's an extended stop, though.
We have another Forge car just went in. Not 100% sure who that is. See if I can figure that out. All these Forge cars, you can't tell the difference other than we were saying Chris Yatito up there. So these seem to be long pit stops?
The Forge car was in and out, so that might have been scheduled of some type. He might be off schedule.
Hey, we have Dakota DeMade there out in the chat tonight. He's saying vroom. One of our fellow drivers from another series.
Voltic pistol. Go buy it on Steam.
That's right. Rob Powers leads. He started first. He's running first. Club Indiana. He's representing.
Yeah, it looks like the closest battle on the track is 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th with McFadden, Davis, Hayes, and Brown. They're all covering with a blanket right now.
Yeah, we'll have a look. We're on to Davis. It looks like somebody is looking to make it 3 wide there for a second.
Discretion might be the better part of valor.
Yeah, they once they got to the corner, they kind of sorted it out a little bit. That was McFadden in there, yeah.
It's too early to be going, even at 86 laps in, it is way too early to be going 3 wide. And you don't want to do it with worn tires, that's for sure. The last thing you want to hear from your spotter is "you're in the middle."
Yeah, you're in the middle, 3 wide.
And the next thing you don't want to hear is "still there, still there, still there."
Now, which is still there? Who knows? But so Cardamone just took over. Well, for a moment it blinked that he was in 5th, but he's still in 6th on my end. I'll head back to that battle for about 13th place. That Joey Haynes is still up there in 15th.
And he's making a move for position right now on the outside of Davis.
Heck of a run.
Into turn 3.
That reminds me a little bit of Paul Tracy running with a broken front wing. I don't remember what track it was, but that was at like a street course, not at oval, not at a super speedway. But heck of a drive by Joey there, keeping this thing under him.
Well, the difference there is that downforce is not as critical on a street course, and someone like that can pull that off. I'm amazed. I really am amazed that he is still as competitive as he is.
And he just tucked under the gearbox of Zachary Brown there.
I mean, he's literally our one-wing angel out there on the racetrack. So go Joey, go.
Yeah, he's got 2 Forge cars ahead of him.
Oh, they almost touched tires.
Yeah, these Forge guys are fighting each other pretty tough here
Matt,
tonight.
What's rule 1 of being a teammate?
You don't wreck your teammate.
That's right. What's rule 2 of being a teammate?
You don't wreck your teammate?
That's how we refer to rule 1, yeah.
It looks like those Forge cars might finally got around him. We have Jason McSparron. He's actually moved up quite a bit here in the race today. He started 27th. He's running in 15th. He's running... and he's running for Avatar Auto Racing. I think he's the only one on that team today. So these guys running independent, they had to build this setup themselves. Like Carl, we mentioned Carl up there at the front. Probably had to build that setup himself. Although he could have used Major's Garage here. They had a pretty good setup. They ran Auto Club just a couple weeks ago. As I just saw a slow car on the apron back there. Yeah, I don't think it was crashing or anything.
McSparron's car, the way that it's got all the little rubber bits all over, it kind of looks like a spotted leopard of some type now, with all that yellow with the little black rubber pieces now decorating it. But kudos to him. I have been, when I first started iRacing, I was by myself and going against all these other racers that were part of teams. If there's really one particular, this is my opinion, if there's really one particular discipline on iRacing, it's definitely the open wheel discipline, where having a teammate is a huge advantage over being by yourself. In NASCAR, you can cooperate with other people that drive a Toyota or something like that. IndyCar, Formula One, you really want that teammate and that association to really help you out. If not with the performance on the track, just by collecting data.
And usually speaking, in sim racing, your teammate isn't your enemy like it is in Formula One in real life. They actually want to help you out.
I think that's one of the things that Alexander Rossi said that he learned really quick about when he joined IndyCar racing, is that your teammate is not your enemy.
Yeah, why are my teammates helping me? Is what they're saying actually correct? You never know. But I think having won the Indianapolis 500 on his first try, he probably started believing his teammates after that. As I see Chris Yatito there in the second place, he's kind of keeping up with Rob Powers, although they're navigating around some lap traffic at the moment.
Yeah, we got 17 cars on the lead lap. The last car on the lead lap right now is Brian Schreiber. He is about 23, almost 24 seconds back from the leaders, so the leaders are not that far. There they are, coming right off of turn 2, so they're not that far behind him. So he's got to get the giddy up going, and of course he's sporting the green color too, so he's throwing luck to the wind as well. Great looking livery. I mean, that's when the lights come on full time, that thing's going to shine. It's got a vac metal green finish. That's pretty awesome. I love the creativity that people have on these liveries.
You can see the crowd are really constantly taking pictures of these cars out there. I don't know if you noticed that, Gary.
Well, apparently this race is happening back in the mid-90s where there's actually still flash bulbs.
Yeah, apparently it is, because they're just going crazy out there. So we are about, yeah, I said we were 5 laps from green flag pit stops before, but they made it, I want to say they made it to about lap 38 or 39, and that's when that caution came out, so they made it a little bit further than I thought they would. We're at lap 35 of the stint right now. Rob Power is just leading us here. So they're looking at pit stops here in the next 5 laps maybe, unless they've saved a lot of fuel.
A lot of cars stopped at lap 61, so they are, 61. We're coming up on 97. They are getting in the window, if not already.
And I see through that lap traffic, Yatito did drop back just slightly. He was about a half second at one point in time. Now he's a full second behind Powers.
Okay, starting to hear some radio traffic of some cars beginning to pit. So I think some of those pit stops are starting to go. We actually have a car right with the leaders, right in front of the leaders, one of the back markers diving for the pit road. So I think some of your early stoppers are going in now.
Yeah, I see some different drivers going down through the leaderboard quickly. So Jason McSparron, apparently, I don't know how accurate this is, but it tells me that he's 78 laps on his stint. But I don't think I believe that. I think my data is a little incorrect on that one.
Well, speaking of Alexander Rossi, geez,
yeah,
you can save a lot of fuel just by in the draft and backing off and keeping in 6th gear. Let me pop on to his rollback. Yeah, he's in 6th gear. Now he's actually in the 5th. He is coming to the pits.
That was McSparron. Yes, he is. He's one of our, I think we said earlier, independent drivers. He was up from 27th up to 17th.
Yeah, he was moving right along. 10 position gain. He hit the cones perfectly. Ooh, slides a little bit through the box. Had the back up.
He did back up just a couple inches, really. And I just wanted to say that we were just right over the century mark on our lap count here tonight.
So 200 miles in.
300 to go. As we have Rob Powers hitting the pit lane. Oh, we've got another kinetic car. That wasn't Rob Powers. Hit the pit, not the attenuator, but the inside wall. That was number 73. Who's 73? That was Gerard Gilbert. So, I mean, if you're going to hit the pit wall there, he picked a good time to do it because it's...
we got another car sideways on pit road, too. Gilbert had to work his way around him. So, wow. We got a lot of people that have been... when you're at speed for that long, to come down off that banking to get down to 60 miles per hour... It's different, folks. It's you don't have all that downforce helping you, and if you don't have the brake bias set, you have it too much to the front, you're going to have issues probably trying to come to a really fast stop. What I find in oval racing is you tend to put your brake bias more toward the rear. Road course racing, your brake bias more toward the front. But Gilbert is there, and he is there for an extended stop, so he might have a black flag for that pit entrance issue that he had.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. With that said, Chris Yatito is out still. He saved fuel heading behind Rob Powers there, and he just passed the start-finish line once again. He is not coming to the pit lane.
But he's not exactly saving fuel either. Looks to me he's in 5th gear. He's right behind Angus and Anderson, well within their draft. Okay, now he's in 6th gear, and I think he's coming in. He's down off the banking aggressively, very good, keeping up a good speed. Downshifting, downshifting, downshifting.
He's got another
straightens it out.
Forge teammate coming in with him side by side.
That's a good thing when you rejoin the field that you have a teammate with you so you can get back in line and get that draft working for you.
So we'll have to see. Rob Powers pitting early. He's going to be out on fresh tires for like a couple laps longer than Chris here. And I have to imagine that at least for the moment, the undercut might work out for Rob Powers. But in terms of, this race going to lap 250, yeah, I saw that too. Chris Yatito might have a slightly better strategy, as the run, if this continues to go green as it is.
Chris, on the access road coming out of pit lane, down on the apron, you got to be really careful in through here. Stay down there in the low, past the cones. Now he's past the blue line. He can rejoin the racing line.
Rob Powers is already in turn 3, so he is checked out with those fresh tires.
Yeah, that's it. You called it.
But again, like I said, this could swing the other way. I'd have to do some math, and I can't do math. But, you're counting down from lap 250 on where your stops are going to show up at. He might, be able to do less fuel in the car late in the race than, say, Rob Powers does, something like that.
Well, that's the interesting thing about iRacing and strategy. A lot of people think when they hit pit lane, they're going to put 18 gallons in automatically every single stop. Folks, you don't need to put 18 gallons in every single stop. You just need enough gas to make the finish. So the more you add is just the more weight you add to your car that makes it slower, that adds to the drag. If he short fills, has fresh tires and is lighter, he could tear off some mean laps right there at the end where he really absolutely needs to.
So before those pit stops, there was about a second between Powers and Yatito. It is now 6 seconds. It is 6 seconds at the moment. So
Powers 222.096. Yatito 218.111. Powers is definitely putting the hammer down and is making some hay here where he needed to make some. He needed to push. He definitely pushed that delta to the point that he has himself a comfortable lead.
Yes, he does. That's where you want to be. But this is where you want to be. But he's got. I'm going to go on board with him for the moment. You can see 6 lap cars ahead of him. He's going to have to navigate around them. No, and you do not want a caution when you have. He's now at 6.5 seconds over P2.
Yeah, he's seeing that in front of him. And okay, so he's going to have the benefit of the draft. So he's probably going to be in 6th gear. I think we're already in the in car. I don't know if we're still in the in car. But he's probably still in 6th gear. Probably down the 5th in the corners. Probably back up to 6 on the straight. He's behind that wonderful looking Apple TV car. I love that. Send me a PM after the race. I want you to paint me a car like that. That's awesome. It's probably on training paints. I don't think he has any teammates in that group, and they're 3 wide coming down into the trioval. Holy
they're
crap.
3 wide with the leader up top.
He took that 5th gear all the way down. He had to be really close to the rev limiter.
Yeah, I mean, we are, 50 laps into this green flag run, but we still have cars side by side, because we have 35 cars out here tonight, so it's kind of insane.
13 cars on the lead lap. 13 cars on the lead lap. And I believe the next one to go in the side.
Is it McFadden? Or did he already go? He already went.
Down a lap. I think it's Daniel Davis in the 333.
And he looks like he just went. Well, no, wait. That's I was looking at the wrong car. The Forge car. That's Daniel Davis. And he goes around that Aero car. That's a lap car. I want to say, who was the Aero car? I mentioned him earlier. I don't recall off the top of my head. Casey Sawich, maybe? He's several laps down, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was, 65, yep. And the Schmidt Peterson, now I guess McLaren.
It's the spam car. It's Schmidt Peterson Autosport McLaren is spam.
Yeah. I didn't think that one through when they named that one.
Yeah.
It's like like the Southampton Institute of Technology. It's like, whoops. And that's fake, by the way, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
Watch your acronyms.
So I noticed. Let's just do a run through the field of these top 13 here. So we got Rob Power as our leader. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of P2. That's Chris Yatito, one of the Forge cars, in second. Yatito's followed by Robert Deloach, his teammate, in third. Daniel Johnson, Rob Power's teammate at that Kinetic Sport team, in fourth. Jeff Cardamone in the fifth position. I have to double check. What is Cardamone's? GCA Racing is Cardamone's team. He is the only car. Rob Courtney's also on that team out here tonight.
The interesting thing about him is this is the first time we mentioned him all night. He has quietly made himself up to fifth place. This guy has got some great strategy going on, and if he can keep it up, he's going to find himself probably in a position to possibly win this race if we get a caution and close the field up.
That's right. And then we have Zachary Brown in sixth position, another Forge car. Steve Paulison here. He is running for Section 8. You know anything about Section 8, the team there, Gary?
Sounds pretty serious to me.
Well, he's running in the sixth position, running from the 14th position. We have Carl Burke running in seventh, moving from 20th position. So he's actually lost a couple spots, but impressive drive by him.
Up 12, yeah, really good.
We have another Forge car, Maurice Gomillion, up to eighth. I thought he might have been one of the... We had a Forge car really early on that hit the apron or something like that and had a run through. I thought it might have been him, but apparently it wasn't because he's all the way up to eighth now. Jonathan Diggs, another Kinetic car.
He is up 13.
To the 10th position. This team, he's got to be thankful he's on this team with this great setup that, he's running, and he's thankful to them. And then we have... Say that again?
I would.
Yeah, I would say I can build my own setups, but they wouldn't exactly be fast, especially in an open kind of thing. So we have Daniel Davis in 10th, another Forge car. I like some of these Forge cars. They've got the 3-digit numbers, so 333 on Daniel Davis there, as Rob McEnany, his other Forge teammate, goes by.
Yeah, you figure those two, they've been side by side for the last couple of laps. And again, not necessarily team orders, but just team communication. Hey, guy, let's get in line. I'm not sure. See, what happened is that they started running side by side, and then all of a sudden they have a car. I think it's, who is that? Who just snuck in underneath them? That Kinetic car, number 47. Maybe he's a lap down. Let's see here.
That's actually the leader.
Oh, okay.
Well, that is the lead. They're being lapped at the moment.
Not paying attention. Boy. So, yeah, I mean, I would have gotten organized if I knew the leader was coming up on me to put me a lap down. Just saying. That's just me.
That's right. They might also, Chris Yatito over there on Forge might be saying, you need to hold up the leader.
Well, I mean, not everyone has an Al Unser to their Al Unser Jr. to their Al Unser Sr. in 1993 Indy 500. But hey, drag the brake a little bit, slow the guy down. I don't know, boss. Something happened.
As Rob Powers goes around on the outside of this Forge car.
He had this teammate there on the high side to help pull him around too, which I'm sure he is really thankful for.
That is the 04 car of Jonathan Diggs, the next lap car up here.
Yeah, so, and I don't expect Diggs. I expect Diggs to dig, but I don't expect Diggs. Yeah, he lets him go.
Yeah,
so
he gave a wide angle there, like to get around there.
That's what a teammate does. That's a good teammate right there. Now you want to tuck in behind your teammate there and try to hang with him as long as possible and see what line he's taking and how maybe you can probably improve yourself and. Maybe if your car is just not doing it, maybe. Oh,
we have a caution flag on the track.
Caution.
Let's see if we can figure out who this is. Didn't have any luck last time.
Don Dolson?
I did see that, but he was already in the... Did it just happen?
I think so.
Let me go to the replay on him and see if that was him, because he's already in the pit lane. Already. Yep, he was. You're right. So Dolson was fighting with, and he goes out. Unfortunately, I don't have it. I had him, and then he went away. So unfortunately, I don't have the replay on that one.
Let's see if I can take a look, probably in my monitor here. Oh, okay. He's tucked in behind Zachary Brown. Looks like we're coming into the tri-oval.
Yeah, I saw him side by side with somebody, but then my...
He and Brown make contact wheel to wheel. He bounces off the wall a couple times and then immediately sticks it into the Armco and gets hung. So, and it resets it immediately. So it was right there at the start-finish line. One of those things where the car coming into the tri-oval area in that turn 3 and turn 4 complex where the car underneath you will want to push up. The car up on the high side thinks he has all the room, and then all of a sudden that door closes. You got nowhere to go, and that's what happened. So we're cautioned on the racetrack at lap. What lap are we on?
122. Now? We're almost halfway through this thing. And I'll just take a moment to thank our event charity for tonight, Susan G. Komen. So Susan G. Komen saves lives by meeting the most critical needs in our communities and investing in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer. Visit www.komen.org to donate today. Links are in the description.
So what we're going to have some strategy going on here. I would imagine we're going to pit. Might as well.
It looked like everybody. Rob Powers pit. Yatito's going to pit. I have to imagine that Chris is... he's pretty happy about this caution because he was 7 seconds back from Powers, and this gives him that nice reset there.
Well, and it also gives a number of drivers the opportunity to bypass pitting and get the wave around and see possibly if they might be able to catch another caution, but they'll get the wave around. So they'll rejoin the end of the field and go back on the lead lap. So we'll actually pick more cars back up on the lead lap, so that number will jump up here a little bit here as well. And I think, where's our man Joey Hayes? He has a new wing, thank God.
Yeah, that's, I mean, so he's a lap down, but he's got to get that new wing. So we were about halfway through that run. So we've got some cars that are going to be out here on about 20 lap old tires. But they're going to have their lap back. They're going to hope for a quick caution. And then they're going to...
as DW says in the NASCAR telecast, cautions breed cautions. So we'll see. It could actually be one of the cautions caused by a car with 20 lap old tires. So
yes, coming back to green flag on 20 lap old tires, not the best thing, especially. Yeah, it's tough.
Hayes getting the wave around. So we're back on the lead lap. All right, Joey Hayes, you're my hero tonight, man. I hope you have a fan club watching.
Yeah, he did. He's according to my information, he stayed out. So
yes, he did.
Somewhere he got a new wing, though. I don't know. Maybe that was the previous pit stop, right?
He stopped at lap 103 last.
Okay, all right. So he got his wing then, and he's getting the wave around now. Is he 1 or 2 laps down? Just 1 lap down is what I've got.
Showing 1, and I think that's going to cycle through here.
Yeah, good job for him. How many cars is that going to put on the lead lap then? I know we were about like 9 at one point, but almost 10, 9 or 10.
I show 13 currently, and I'm going to see if the computer refreshes anymore. Whoa! We almost had a collision on the backstretch.
As
going
cars
under caution.
Well, so we're about to come.
That would have been Klaus or Angus and Gelder, I think, almost came together on the backstretch in a momentarily loss of focus.
Well, we've seen something like that before, haven't we, Gary?
Whoa. Yes, we have. And actually, I think Angus almost got... What is going on here? We have cars checking up, coming to green, and the whole back of the field is swerving to miss each other. See, this is where the caution's going to happen. These are all the guys on 20 lap tires. And yes, we have seen a car come into somebody and plow right to the back of them on a caution lap.
As I
Thomas
see,
Adler, we love you, by the way. We're nothing but love, friend.
So we've got a Nathan Medina from earlier is trying to get his lap back from Rob Powers. Yeah, we have some cars between Chris Yatito and well, he's making it like there aren't cars there, but there were at the restart there were cars between Yatito and Powers, and that was Medina.
Yeah, McSparron, number 14, is the first car one lap down. So he's really wanting to move up there. We got a Forge car low on the apron in turns 3 and 4.
We just had a 3 wide on the front straightaway here, well, with a lapped car and a couple cars going for position. That was Medina, and I'm not sure who else. It was Medina, a Forge car, and then somebody else. One of the guys we talked about earlier, but I don't recall his name. So Yatito's going to have set his sights on Powers now. He's got his teammate behind him in third, Robert Deloach. See if these guys can work together and try to break up this Powers show. As Yatito looks on the outside, but tucks back in underneath the gearbox of Powers. He's going to look inside now.
Wow, aggressive move to the inside. Move to the inside.
We are halfway through this race, Gary, so things are starting to happen. Power move there, power move on Powers.
And he's got his teammate in tow, and Power doesn't want to see that because
we've got a yellow flag.
Yellow, and there it is. There it is, guys. The guys that got the wave around are cheering right now in their personal rigs at home, probably letting go of the wheel, clapping their hands because they just got saved. They can pit, get fresh tires, full tanks, and they're going to be roughly on the same schedule as the leaders. That is going to put a lot of people back in the contention.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing who this caution was brought out by, but I'm clicking through and I don't see anybody damaged, so. I'm back to 29th position, Brian Halleck, and he's fine. We have, could it be Dominic Warwick? He was back quite a ways earlier. He might have been on the pit lane already. Yeah, he was on the pit lane already. So never mind on that one. So we do have Chris Yatito's now in the lead here. This might be his first laps that he's led tonight.
Let's see, we got currently on pit road. We got a car. We got one of the goodness. We got one of the I think unorthodox cars coming off of pit road. We got Greg McEnany on pit road as well.
Unorthodox would have been Joey Haynes.
Okay, so he stopped. That's okay. That would have been a scheduled stop then, because he got.
Yeah, because he stayed out, and so he's got his lap back, and
even though he's still showing a lap down, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm seeing it as a lap down, so we'll see if that might be incorrect information, but we'll see.
So currently on pit road, we got Gelder, McEnany. We got Rob Courtney coming down pit road right now under power for a regular scheduled pit stop, along with Gilbert. Nope, Gilbert's still on the track. Klaus.
So Gelder's car looks damaged. This might be our guy who made the caution there. I'm gonna try going back, and we'll try this like once. See if we can figure out if I've got it anyway. I don't think I've got it. Never mind.
It was him.
Okay. Well, at least we know who it was.
He's going low into turn 3. Oh, Okay, so he got taken out by a Forge car. It's the Forge car with the yellow rims. Looks
Is that
like
McEnany, maybe?
that is McEnany. So let me go a little bit further back in time and see what happened here. Oh wow, he is in a gaggle of cars. Trying to get a good angle. Was he coming into the pits?
Unfortunately, I don't have the replay on that one.
I'm watching. Oh, okay. All right. So, coming off of 2, you had 2 cars almost collect each other. One was the Schmitz-Peterson, the Spam Arrow car, along with one of the Team Unorthodox cars. Can't tell who it is right now at this point. McEnany had to go. Yeah, he had to take evasive action. He goes to the
Might have been
apron.
Angus.
He tries to rejoin. The apron gets him, and he collects 2 unorthodox cars.
So Angus might have been one of the unorthodox, because Joey Haynes was one of the other unorthodox cars.
So if you can't get one...
Oh, Matt Gelder. That's when I mentioned Gelder is another unorthodox car.
So if you can't take one of your opponents out, take 2. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. And that's all from just evasive action off of turn 2. Something that happened at turn 2 resulted in everything happening in turns 3 and 4. So it's just how things happen sometimes.
Yeah, we've got lights out on that Mustang pace car. Chris Utito is going to lead us back to the green flag. We'll see how he can do. We had Rob Powers take that big gap earlier in a restart. We'll see what he can do from that restart. And we're pretty much fully night at this track now.
Tito not taking a very defensive position up high. He's going green. 2nd gear. 3rd gear. Taking a midline into turn 1, going up high now. 4th gear. Diving to the white line. Still under power. Coming out to the wall.
Here's where these cars might have to just gingerly go through this, turn 1 and 2 here. We talked about cold tires. Now that it's night is fully out here, and it looks like Power is going to go inside.
And he's there. He is there.
And he's going to lead that lap.
He's going to let him go. Tucks in right behind him. And I say let him go loosely.
Yeah. There might not have been much of a choice there.
He had the line. He had the position. They're going to fight it out. They're going to fight it out.
I think this is what we're going to see for the next, we're halfway through this race now. We're going to see a lot of battling for this lead position here.
The best seat in the house is Robert Deloge. He is watching these 2.
Let's go on board with Robert here in his fastest seat in sports, really. He hugs that apron. White line.
So
not helping his teammate there.
Yeah, he's not. I was getting ready to say it's not helping his teammate.
He comes out. He goes a little high to get that draft from Chris there.
He breathes it for a moment in turns 3 and 4.
Looks like he gave him a little bit of help. Gave him a little bit of a push. But certainly that lead car is going to get a little bit of speed. Having that car slipstream behind.
Another Forge car pokes his nose in underneath Deloge. I think that might be Johnson. No.
That is... no, it's not Johnson. That might be a lap car then. Car. Yeah. We've got some team orders there. As he gets around, he's kind of looking... Maybe he's looking for his lap back.
That might have been Brian Halleck. The number 28 car.
As Chris Utito leads just 1/10 of a second over Rob Powers. I like these pictures. We've got this nice shiny
number 3 car, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Nice shiny look of these cars under the lights now here at Auto Club Speedway. California 500.
Yeah, that is Brian Halleck. He's actually in the number 3 car. He's in 28th position, probably rejoining after getting some damage in an earlier incident. But he's right up there with the leaders. He is 8 laps down, currently on a lap all by himself. So right now, hey, if you can help out your teammates, go right ahead, as long as you don't really impede your opponents that much.
And we have Rob Powers taking over the lead once again over Chris Tito. So basically, Powers has got 3 Forge cars behind him, 2 for position. Daniel Johnson and another Kinetic car in 4th, but he's dropped back just slightly from that group.
Yeah, this is a handicap match, and what Powers needs is he needs a run-in from somebody with a steel chair. So he needs someone to help him out, and he's not getting it. But he is in the catbirds. He's got the number 1 position. He's been leading all night. So I don't know how much of a handicap match it is. Maybe he has the advantage, and the other guys, they're the baby faces that are going to lose. Who knows? We'll find out.
We will see, won't we? But he's certainly, I think he's got the setup, you know. He's proven that tonight.
140 of 250.
Soon we're going to be heading 100 laps to go, 200 miles to go. 10 laps before that happens. Yeah, I was saying, who did you say that was? Brian Halleck there in the 3 car. You know, he's 8 laps down. At best, he can maybe make up a lap or 2 here tonight, but...
Well, here's the thing. I mean, he's at speed. He's not holding anybody up. He's not directly involved with the fight, per se. He is with team cars. He probably has team orders to, you know, help where he can, but stay out of the way where he needs to stay out of the way. I don't know. If I was him, I'm not letting off the accelerator to go fall into the back of the clutches at the mid pack. I'm going to stay right up there with the leaders and help my teammates as long as I possibly can.
As we go side by side for a moment there, no longer though, Chris Tito takes over the lead. Let's have a look back in the field though, and just see what's going on there. Daniel Davis, last of our lead lap cars, in 11th. Another Forge car.
Down on the white line.
Yes, he is.
Got one of them really good handling cars if he can do that.
Yeah, in traffic too, so. Joey Haynes, who we've been kind of rooting for on the side here tonight, back in 14th. He is a lap down, so we'll have to see if he can get another timely caution where he can get get back to that lead lap.
Get that wave around, because we don't do lucky dogs in IndyCar racing. Wow, Davis took a really high entry into into 3 off the back, right off the back straight, and almost clipped the safer barrier with his right rear. He took a super high entry.
Yeah, we're riding on board, looking back from him, back at his rear wing, seeing how he can go. I'll talk about Davis here.
Yep.
Who's 72 back there? That's not for position, I don't think.
Robert Covey.
Okay.
He is 3 laps down.
But he's running in 20th position. Or 20, is it 21st?
I got him at 21st right now.
Okay. Just doing some different onboards, trying to see if we've got anything exciting out here. We do have Carl Burke once again in 7th. He's right behind our winner from Bathurst, Jeff Cardamone, in the 6th position in that GCA racing car. Or CGA racing.
I just want to call some attention to Timothy Klaus. He is up 15 positions from today's start. He's currently 1 lap down in 15th spot. So he started back in the 30th
wow.
position. He is up to 15th. one lap down. He's one of 4 laps, or one of 4 cars, one lap down. Hey, if the fortune strikes him right, maybe he can get back on the lead lap, and we can see, our version of Scott Goodyear making the run from the last row up to the lead.
And he is running on an independent team, so whatever setup he's using, he either built it himself or maybe he downloaded it here from Major's Garage. Maybe he's running that Liam Quinn setup that you can download.
And we got a blinker with who was right in front of him.
Yeah, I saw that tire smoke.
Rob Courtney, I think, was the blinker. Yeah.
That is a teammate of that Jeff Cardamone up there in 5th position. There's many scary things in iRacing when you're driving. Well, probably the scariest thing is when your opponent in front of you disappears and you don't know where the computer then is going to draw him in next. You're hoping that it's going to draw him in front of you and not on top of you, which I've actually had happen. Some very famous instances of netcode. That is one of the more scarier instances of iRacing when the car in front of you blinks, then comes back in, and when it comes back in, he just blinked again. He ends up belching all that smoke, and you think it's like an accident happened in front of you. So by reaction, you want to lit up, and it's just not good. I kind of hope that these guys at Blink can probably do something to better their internet connection. But we got people from all over the world racing, and sometimes the internet with those undersea cables are going as fast as they can and can't go any faster. That's right. That's you kind of have a look around the field. These guys don't need to do it here tonight because this is Sportsman America division. But you get in these races, you might have an Australian guy. You just might want to give him a little bit of extra space because he's got that 200 ping, and he might just Yeah, honestly, he's probably going to get the worst end of that stick, though, usually from what I've seen. As we head through lap 150, we've got 200 miles to go here as Chris Ciotito leads. Up from 9th position, by the way.
I'm really glad we practiced his name because now he's leading, so we're going to have to say it a lot. And Chris, nothing but love for you, man. I have one of those names too that it's been butchered, and I'm sure yours has. So I feel your pain. It's. I'm glad we practiced it.
That's right. Yeah, we were lucky enough 2 weeks ago for our leader in points, our champion of the Sports Car America division here, to give us kind of the rundown of all the names in this series. Although we do have a few new names here tonight, as Rob Powers retakes the lead there at the front.
218.183 last time by for Powers. Tito is 216.680 last time around. So the draft gives you 2 miles per hour that time around.
We're still looking at probably 2 pit stops to get them to the end here, because we're looking at 100 laps. They're on actually 30-lap old tires. We're going to be running about 40-lap stints.
Right. The bulk of the leaders stopped at lap 122. Those that got the wave around, got back on the lead lap, they stopped at 130. We're looking at a windows of 35 to 40 laps. So we're coming up on a stop here in 20 laps or so.
So I think I just saw Joey Haynes pit, and he was coming out of the pits there. So he is on the freshest tires out there right now. He's back to 21st now, though.
He pit at lap 148. He still has the purple lap of the race, so good for him. You can hang your hat on that one at the end of the day if you still hold it.
Yeah. So he might just be trying to do a little bit of strategy here, although, again, he's going to have to pit 2 more times. His Powers has started to build up a half a second gap. Robert DeLoach has taken over that second position.
Whoa, we got a car going way off to the apron on the backstretch. I didn't see who it was, but he was taking some evasive action.
Trying to see if I can see anybody moving back
yellow,
here.
Yellow. That's probably the result.
Was it Gerard Gilbert? He was really slow there, I saw.
Yeah. Let's see. We got up, arrow push, got up into the gray, kissed the wall, dives for the apron.
You're saying it was Gilbert?
Yeah.
Okay, Gilbert. I think I do have him.
He's back up to speed. He's damaged. He's damaged. He goes into turn 3, pushes up, and he collects our friend in the yellow and had all the spots on it. Then again, forget who it was.
I saw him earlier. I've got it on the replay right now here. Oh, I see that. Yep.
Schreibner? Was it Schreibner?
I'm trying to remember who that was. It? No, it wasn't McEnany. He probably took the worst of it, didn't he? Because Gerard here didn't. He although he probably has a really bent up car suspension wise, as everybody comes to the pit lane.
Yeah, it's the wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Well, we've seen quite a few cars have issues coming off that turn 2. Oh, as we have one car, I don't know who that is. It looks like a Forge car in the pit lane, really angled, but I can see those air jacks going up, and he was fine. I think DeLoach just took the lead there on that cycle of pit stops. He might have short-filled. I have the timing on that. He did a 9-second stop to Rob Powers' 10-second stop.
Yeah, that's a short fill. It's got to be a short fill.
It's got to be a short fill, yeah. I mean, what were they into this stint? 25 laps, I want to say. So
yeah.
And there's going to be, we've got 93 laps to go. There's still going to be 2 pit stops. Well, wait. It's going to be iffy. I think we got possibly 2, like a really short final pit stop.
That was Jason McSparron that got collected in the on the push up in the turn 3.
Okay, McSparron, that's who we were talking about earlier, we liked his
and he had just no place.
He's got a fresh car though. He's pulling off the pit lane, so he had not used his fast repair.
He thankfully had the fast repair, but just wrong place, wrong time. And I've been there. I've been collected. So yeah, and he had to get a toe in too. So
okay, so he's gonna be down a lap or 2, but beyond where he was previously.
Got 11 cars on the lead lap now.
So Joey Haynes is gonna get his wave around, but he's back 3 laps now, so he's gonna be back on the second lap with all that.
Showing Daniel Johnson is the last car in the lead lap right now. I don't know who's getting the wave arounds here, so.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a couple, 1 or 2 cars back on the lead lap, because there's quite a few cars that are several laps down that are also getting a lap back, but they won't be back on the lead lap.
McEnany getting the lead.
Yeah, well, McEnany might be back to 1 lap down.
Okay, yeah. A number of cars are getting the wave around. You listen to them in fuel position 8 as they're getting the wave around. you could just hear. I'm sorry, not fuel position 8. It's actually engine mapping. We'll talk about one of the things they can change in the car is an engine mapping. Sometimes people call it a fuel map. It's an engine map, and it's how the engine performs in reference to where your foot is on the throttle. Engine map 1 is full everything, 1-to-1 ratio on the throttle versus the engine performance. Engine map 8 is what we call for caution or fuel conservation. Fuel map 5 is actually full lean, and that's what drivers will do if they're really trying to conserve. We got green back on the racetrack, folks, by the way.
Yes, we do. We have Robert DeLoach leads us into the first turn.
So these guys are trying to stretch out this stop as long as possible, and they're in fuel map 8, trying with the pedal all the way to the floor, trying to make their way around to this into the longest line here. So we're back green. Let's see if they save themselves some gas.
Powers looking outside Robert Deloach. I think Robert Deloach, that was his first laps led here tonight.
28 cars still on the track.
Wow. Well, we got those fast repairs, so some of our guys that befell some bad, some bad luck, like that guy just a moment ago, gets his fast repair, gets that backup car out on the track.
An experiment, yeah. But now, I mean, you're getting into the point of the race where drivers are going to be really, really aggressive because it's coming to Rick Mears time, right? It's that last quarter of the race where you've just been kind of hanging out, you've been adjusting on your car, you've been making it right, and now you're in that stretch run where you want to be the closer. Rick Mears was the closer, and that's when the aggression comes out on some of these drivers, maybe making some desperate runs. And hey, guess what? If you blow your car up this time, you don't have that fast repair anymore.
Yeah, and we see Rob Powers is kind of surrounded by Forge cars at this point. I mean, it's kind of been that for the last 50 laps or so, but now at one point we had one of the Forge cars was several laps down, but we've got Deloach, Yatito, Zachary Brown are all Forge cars. They are all for position here. So then we have Cardamone there in 5th place. He's not one of the Forge cars. But yeah, you have to wonder if maybe Rob Powers used all of his stuff early on in this race, and he's gonna have these Forge cars to contend with now, because he had that 5-6 second lead at one point in time where that caution came out.
Yeah, he probably didn't want to see that.
No, he did not.
Yeah, all the leaders are right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All separated by a half second. A little bit further back, Burke, almost a second back. He's in 6th. He's getting ready to. Let's see. He's still in the draft, so he's not. He can get right back in this battle if he needs to. He might just want to wait back there and let some of this stuff shake out.
Yeah, I have to imagine that at some point here, things are getting aggressive here. We really saw that even 50 laps ago that it was starting to get a little aggressive when we saw Yatito take over that lead from Powers. But, yeah, he just wants to stay with this group, let everything kind of happen in front of him, and let that luck come his way.
Deloach goes down low to help his teammate. Right through the tri-oval. Whoa. Jeff Cardamone.
Oh, we have Cardamone, and he's off.
And that
is going to be, it's not a caution yet.
Oh,
and there's the caution.
There it is. I
saw several cars kind of go high. That's actually not a privateer there. He's our winner from Bathurst.
That's right. That's that he's on a team. He was doing so well.
But I saw several cars kind of like understeer out of turn 2, and he's the one that did it the worst, right? But he's going to have that fast repair, and he looks like he's going to try to get it back to pit lane, not lose that lap.
Yeah, he's going to have to crab walk that one.
Yeah, he is. He's certainly doing the crab walk.
I've done that before, and that is hard. That is definitely hard.
Let's get a replay of this here.
Yeah, so I think he hit the apron. I think we hit the apron. Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Yes, I saw it, and it was all right in front of Carl, so we were talking about how Carl was just going to watch this and have luck come his way, and he just grazed past Cardamone as he hit that interior wall in the back straightaway. Yeah, so here, what do you do here? I don't think these guys need a pit.
Burke had he was looking at the wall himself at one point. Great evasion on his part. I can't tell you how common of a mistake it is that the drivers clip that apron. It just happens, unfortunately, even to the best, that sometimes they clip that apron, and it's so easy to do. It's hard to fault someone. It's just a momentary lapse of focus. That's all it takes. And it's Indy cars where you're moving so quick. It just happens so quick. 1 minute you're straight, the next minute you're on the line, the next minute you're loose, and you're taking out cars behind you.
Yeah, that's right. And I get reminded of a kind of a different or a clone of this track, or this track's a clone of that track. Michigan. You don't even have to get on the apron to have that. You just have to get on that lower line late in a run, and the rear end of the car can kind of come around with that slightly lower banking that lowest line has.
So we're at lap 167. I think you did talk about, who's going to maybe take a shot at the pits. They're still going to have to stop again, so you can't gas for the distance, correct? So they're going to still have to stop again. Maybe they can, if there's only, what we got, 11 on lead laps.
We're one pit stop away from the end here. So
if I'm in 9th, 10th, and 11th, and I have 10 tires to go through, and I have only gone through 4 or 5 sets, and I still have plenty to go, it might be worth my time to duck in, throw on some new tires, throw some gas to top off the tank, and give it a really big run here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the pit stops. I've got them on the screen. The count, nobody is anywhere near that 10 tire limit. At most, we've got some guys that have done 6 stops. All of our leaders in the top 5 have done, actually up down to the 7th, have had 5 stops. So they certainly have, 5 tires left. It wasn't an issue here tonight.
And that's if they chose to change tires. I mean, somebody might have come in and did a quick repair and chose not to change tires or something just to get back on the track or whatever. So, generally, though, you're right. If you pit, most of the time you're stopping for tires.
Yeah, I think 10 tires, 10 sets of tires was enough for everybody to kind of do whatever they wanted. I think when you make that decision that you want a tire limit, you give everybody plenty, and you just want to make sure that every time there's a caution, if there's a caution fest, that people aren't coming down every single time.
Before we go green, we got 1 lap to green. Can you go to the in-car for Deloach, go to the roll bar? I want to point out something.
Sure.
I love people when they do things to the finer details of their car. Look at the inside of his halo here. Shake and bake. That is awesome.
Let me see. I need to get an actual in-car of this, not the
Go to the roll bar. Go to the roll bar.
I'm on the roll bar, and I don't quite see. Okay, I sort of see it, but I bet if I went in the cockpit, I could see it better. Yes, I do see it. Although, we're coming back to green, but there we go. Shake and bake. I had to turn off the ticker there to see the left mirror.
That's awesome. I love those finer details. Okay, we go green, and he's bringing him down.
Deloach has a pretty good run off there. Back in 3rd and 4th, we have Brown getting around Yatito. I didn't notice that in that whole sequence of events there.
Okay, I got some people upset on the radio. Something happened back mid-pack.
Yeah, there's a big gap back. Like, there's a couple gaps.
I heard a dude, what are you doing? That's
Well, some people are 3 laps down and they might not be as excited about these restarts as somebody that's on the lead lap. Like Cardamone's here, as he's in 11th, he's still on the lead lap. He was involved in that crash, but he's still on that lead lap, so he's wanting to get back up to the front. Of course, he doesn't have any more fast repairs out there. But he's not worrying about. He's getting just as close to that white line as he was before.
We got 4 Forge cars up in this group.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, these Forge cars.
We have a lone kinetic car all by his lonesome.
And that's Rob Powers going back to 3rd position. This is the furthest back we've really seen him in this race.
Taking a low line off of 2, holding it down low down the back
as we
stretch.
have the Forge cars going 3 wide there for a moment. And Burke decides to go inside. Yellow flag.
Caution.
What did we say earlier there, Gary?
Cautions breed cautions.
That's right. Let's see what we have here.
Oh, Jeff Cardamone. He's in the fence again.
Oh, really?
And that is his. That's it. That is.
Yep, I should have this replay too. So
it happened on the backstretch.
A Bathurst winner. He just.
Two cars involved in this one. We had a little side checking going on midway down the backstretch.
We're just about coming up to it.
Yeah, someone's not given a little extra room when they should have probably given a little extra room if they could have. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, that was. He tried to make it in the middle, 3 wide, and that did not work. Tough break for the winner at Bathurst.
Who was the other car? Do we know who the other car was?
I couldn't tell who it was.
Okay, well.
So, do we have... Let's see here. We have cars have hit the pit lane. So, like Deloach... Or no, he's not. Is he on the pit lane? Yes, he is on the pit lane. Sorry, I wasn't on live pictures anymore. So Rob Powers and Carl Burke have stayed out, but Johnson and Deloach and Brown, Yatito, like quite a few of our leaders have opted to take that kind of free pit stop there. What happened to Powers? Okay, no, sorry. Yeah, he's in the lead. So he stayed out. And he's going to be on 16-lap old tires.
Okay, that was Daniel Johnson that got involved in the backstretch fracas.
Oh, really? Because I have to see where he cycles through here.
Yep. That was Daniel Johnson in the number 069. Let's see, he collects it. He's going to get damage. He plays Dukes of Hazzard over the access road, so he's got damage more than likely to a wing. If not, he's got damage to the under tray. And I'm watching it on delay here. So he went ahead and collected it, went ahead and turned the lap, completed the lap, and I think he's probably going to come in and pit. So he's probably already pitted by this point. But that was Johnson that got caught up in that.
All right. Well, we're just north of 75 laps to go. Definitely down to 1 pit stop remaining in this race. But as we see, cautions breeding cautions here.
Johnson did not stop. He did not stop.
Yeah, I'm showing him in third, but there's quite a few cars between him and Burke. But so these cars, there's a ton of lapped cars between Burke and Johnson. Yeah,
and the interesting 1 lap to green here. And I've been in this guy's shoe as early as last night in a race. He took air. He probably has damage. He doesn't know where, doesn't know how bad. He's probably had his teammates take a look and see that evaluate his car. But he really doesn't know what he has until they get back up to speed again. Yeah, I'm not in his position. He could break insta loose going into turn 1 or turn 2, and we just don't quite know what the damage to that under tray is. So, to the guys behind him, Simino and Meccanini, and we got 4th place Deloach back there. I would give this guy a wide berth until at least a couple laps in, so you can for sure that he has everything operating well under him. But they're coming to green in the defensive high position. They're already stacking up out back.
Yeah, I can see that. This is going to be interesting because we have the 2 leaders having stayed out, and then I don't even know 10 cars between Johnson and them. So, and we've got like Deloach on fresh tires.
Wow, a number of cars, I think, made a pass on the inside before the start-finish line. So I don't know if we're going to see a rash of black flags here all of a sudden.
It passes on the inside, you said, not on the outside?
Yeah, no, it passes
Wow.
on the inside. Yeah, they were taking evasive action.
I see. I'm not sure if the admins here would be clearing black flags. Possibly they would be. For situations like that. So we have Powers and Burke battling with Powers. We had a Forge car who was lapped, taking over, not the lead, but trying to get around Powers to get their lap back.
And they are fanning out 4 wide on the backstretch.
Yeah, I can see, Scrivener here in 6th position, up from 24th position. There are 3, almost 4 wide back there. Many lapped cars there. But they make it through safely so far anyway.
So Powers and Burke up 18 spots. 18.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Burke stayed out with Powers. You know, Powers is kind of controlled this race, and you, being Burke, you kind of think, I'm going to go with the guy who's controlled this race and stay out with him.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. If I had a spotter, and my advice to my driver would be stick with whatever the leader does. You do. He stays out. You stay out. He pits. You dive in behind him. They didn't have very old tires. They last pitted at lap 156. We're at 178.
They're 28 laps old now, and the wear is only going to get better with this. It's nighttime now, so the wear is even better. This track is rubbered up as it could ever be at this point. Here's another big mover in this race. Mark McFadden, Club Canada, starting 22nd. He's up to 7th position, although I think he just lost a spot. He's back to 8th now. From Yatito just got by him.
Up 14.
Yeah, big mover.
Scrivener up 18.
Yeah, we've got some guys here that are really moving in this race. I mean, Burke's one of them, too.
Well, it's a 500-mile race, and discretion is always the better part of valor. Racing someone like it's the last lap in the first quarter of the race makes no sense. If these guys just hung back, waited, bided their time, had some good pit strategy, worked their way to the front, they do it the easy way. These guys are probably pretty fresh. And the fact that they started so far back and worked their way so far forward shows that they absolutely know what they're doing. Now, luck sometimes plays a role, but we don't always want to chalk it up to luck all the time.
We've got Paulison inside of McFadden there. I'm just having a look here back in the field. So Burke, back to the front though. That Forge car, I'm not sure who is that Forge car that's battling with Powers. He's not battling for the lead. He's battling for his lap back.
Halleck.
Oh, okay, and Halleck was like, what, 8 laps down?
8 down, and kind of at this point.
Well, it's team. He's a Forge driver, so he's trying to get up there and cause some issues.
Well, you don't have a teammate nearby. I believe that he's not holding up the leader, but he's certainly not helping the leader out. If I was a leader, I would be like, hey, man, you're 8 laps down. You need to get out of here. But this is IndyCar racing, not Formula One, so you just don't expect the guy to pull over. You gotta pull it off. So,
and as I can see, who were we saying that was? The Forge car? Sorry. Halleck. It wasn't even running the low line in that last corner. He was like the second lane high. So yeah, he was really close to Powers there. Burke is just right there as well. I'm not sure if he's happy. He might be happy that Powers is kind of being slowed up here.
Oh yeah, at this point, being in contact up at the front, he's shifting to 6th gear. I just popped into his in-car and my monitor. He's shifting to 6th gear, so he's looking at probably saving some fuel and just riding right there in the slipstream. Reports of a car blinking out.
He did. Powers did get around, and now Burke's trying to get around that Forge car.
Well,
heading back to Deloach. He's 3.5 seconds back from the leader. He's made it around several of the cars that were between them, but still has a lot more work to do. But he does have the advantage of fresher tires to do all of that. Powers and Burke are going to be looking at a pit stop here.
Side by side, Burke and I believe it was Overbay got real close off the exit of 2. Oh, real close.
Yeah, I mean, these lap cars can kind of stick with the leader once they get that slipstream.
Well, at this point, Halleck just might want to yield and let the second place on by. Believe me, drivers' memories are long, and if there's a point in time where Halleck's ever in the lead and Burke is a lap car down, I'm wondering if there's going to be a receipt made for this one at some point in time in the future. We'll see.
We had an unorthodox car, really slow, kind of running high. Maybe that was... not sure who that was. But I'm just looking back in the field and seeing kind of what's going on. Stephen Paulison battling with McFadden as well as Scrivener up there in the 7th position.
Got our hero Joey Haynes up there in this lead pack as well.
Yeah, that's who I was actually thinking of, was Joey there. So he's 3 laps down still. He's the lead car on that 3 laps down. But he's still running in 16th position. It's exactly where he started. So
hey, break even after 500 miles.
Is he still our fastest lap of the race? I think he is.
Still purple. He is still purple. I don't know if they earn points off of fastest lap. Some series award that.
I believe they do. I haven't looked through it all, but they give a lot of different points in this major series here. So Deloach, he was 3.5 seconds. He's brought it down to about 3.1 seconds to the leader. I mean, he's on fresher tires. I'm trying to think here. So I think that Deloach could be in prime position here if this goes green flag to the end. I mean, not that I don't want to jinx it. But Powers and Burke might have to pit twice.
He stopped at 172, so Deloach, Brown, and Yatito stopped at 172. Shriver stopped at 172. Paulson stopped at 172, along with McFadden and Davis. And that is your top 10, and those are your guys on the lead lap. So at disadvantage right now could be Powers and Burke.
Yeah, if this goes green anyway.
And maybe Daniel Johnson along with that. He stopped at 166, but I believe he had damage.
Yeah, he's back to 6th position. I think when that green flag waved, he was in 3rd position. So as you said, you might have a little bit of an issue with some damage on that car.
I'd be shocked if he didn't have some invisible damage on that car. Just really, I would be. You don't go to the grass and bounce over the access road that many times and not.
Yeah, that underwing is can be damaged, and you don't really know it, but obviously there's something wrong with the car. You don't see that the suspension is damaged. You might try to look ahead at your front wing, and you don't see that's damaged, but the car is feeling slow.
Well, and on top of that, there's a lot of stuff just by the nature of this is iRacing and we don't have spotters in every turn for us, but he might have got involved in an incident early on in the race and had to use his quick repair already. He might not have a choice.
That's right. Or you get into a case where you accidentally use your fast repair. If you might have touched something, and if you have a caution flag and you had a little bit of a damaged front wing, you just want to take the time, that 5 seconds, to repair that front wing, but maybe you didn't turn off the fast repair and you ended up using it up. So I hate when that happens. The sound I just
made is my hand being raised. I did that.
Yeah, I've been there before too.
Powers 219.319 last time by Burke 218.428. Deloach a little bit further back 220.550. So the leaders still making some fast times.
Yeah, Deloach has brought that gap to the leaders to 2 seconds. It was 3.5 just a few laps ago, and he could possibly be on the prime strategy here.
And he's mostly in clean air, and that helps.
Yeah, I just went on board with him, and you can see that 5 or 6 cars ahead, but they're plenty ahead that he's not really getting much help from them, although he's catching them real quick.
.195 at 250 just clicked off.
Yep, 55 laps to go
Nice
as he goes around.
Wow, that was a good power move. Good power move.
It was a little tight.
Yep. Casey let him go, but it was a nice power move. Next up for him is Diggs and Hayes.
And Burke is only about a second ahead of him now. Burke and Powers are probably struggling on their tires just a little bit. Burke's kind of lost touch of Powers, though. I'm just still on board with Deloach here, kind of watching him. Is he our fastest car on the track right now? I would assume he probably is.
Last lap by, he had a 218.830. Behind him, Brown had a 221.39. We got a car in the apron.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Powers with a 219.340 in the lead.
Yeah, actually, Powers is running pretty strong laps there, and he's all on his own.
Clean air and a good setup too.
Yeah, he's actually, well, the last lap Deloach was a little bit faster, but that previous lap Powers was faster.
Wow, you had a kinetic car way up in the gray. You had that Larson line up there. Woo! Any cars do not belong up in that line.
Not when you mean to, anyway. You might get up there.
Yeah.
Although, I'm trying to think, there was a track where, I think it might have been Homestead, maybe like 10 years ago when it was the finale, and it was with the previous era chassis before the DW12. They were really running that high line in that finale race. It was between Briscoe and Franchitti.
He is now knocking on the door of Burke. He's all over.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be, as I saw it on Unorthodox car, hitting the pit lane there. That might have been Joey Haynes. Yes, it was Joey Haynes.
Yeah, he's got the pass on Burke.
Yeah.
So
Burke's just trying to survive on these tires. Might be hoping for a caution. He's 42 laps on this stint. That's actually a little bit further than I thought they could go. Rob Powers leads. We're going to be watching for him to come to the pit lane. They've had some caution laps on this stint, so that's why they can go a little bit further.
Hearing a number of cars coming off the pit road. A number of cars diving on the pit road. We are in that window.
There are 50 laps to go. 100 miles.
Business is picking up on pit road.
We're watching for Rob Powers. I think he's coming in.
Okay, so if I was Burke, I would have pit. He passes pit road. Powers is in, right? Powers
Correct.
is in. Okay.
Powers is in. So Powers and Burke are going to have to make it 50 laps on this stint. We know they can't do that. So they're going to need some caution.
We got Robert is now on turn 2 down the backstretch. I don't know if you're watching the pit stop. You can maybe see where he comes out as opposed to our leader. Okay, we're into turn 3.
Powers is on the pit.
He's on the pit road, so he's out. More cars diving for pit road. Lap 202.
So Deloach and them are probably about 10 laps from doing their own stops. But those guys are going to be plenty good to make it to the end. Deloach, Brown, Yatito. Johnson's going to be close. He's going to have to pit probably 5 laps before they do. He's on another kinetic car.
More cars diving for pit road. And now Deloche is kind of all by himself. So they're good to go. Can they short fill at all, you think, or are they going to have to? They're going to have to fill.
If they might be able to do just a couple gallons shorter, but it won't make a huge difference, I don't think. So like Powers on the pit lane and Burke on the pit lane. Burke's coming out. They were almost 10 seconds on their pit stop. So we'll have to compare that to Deloche and Brown when they come in for their stops as well.
Yes, folks. There is no such thing as a real pit team performance. It's all depending on what work is being done determines how fast you get in and out of the pits.
There is some random number generator in there too, though. I like to imagine that it's just how well I hit my marks, but from what I understand,
I like to, yeah.
From what I understand, there is some amount of randomness to it.
High entrance into turn 1, down to the white line. Down the backstretch.
I think we have 3 Forge cars from 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Zach Brown and Tito.
And then we have Paulison moving up from 14th position. Was he in one of our independent drivers out here? Section 8. No, we talked about him earlier. And then we have Johnson, who was kinetic car. So through that cycle of pit stops, now Powers is a lap down, running in 9th. But he should be able to get that lap back. But he's going to need probably some caution or some major fuel saving to get it to the end.
Oh, he definitely does not want to see a caution right now.
Yeah, he'd get the wave around though, I would say, and then he'd be on the lead lap. But yeah, not sure exactly what he wants.
8 cars on the lead lap. Daniel Davis is the last car in the lead lap.
Correct.
And the 3.
Another Forge car.
I mean, you can almost feel the drama and the angst building up here as we're getting to bingo hour and bingo fuel for these guys. That this is it. This is what's going to get them to the end. And is it a good decision? Is it a bad decision? It's what's going to happen. You can just feel the drama starting to build.
That's right. One of our other cars, we talked about him a little bit earlier, is Brian Scrivener in 6th position. He started 24th. He's independent. He might be looking for a team out here. Some of these guys that don't have a team at the moment, they might get snatched up after a run like this in this series. So we're waiting for Robert Deloche to make that run to the pits, but I think he's still several laps off of doing such.
Yeah, I think you got Deloche, Brown, Yatito, and Paulson all pitted last at lap 172. So they will probably be all ducking in together. So that will bring Johnson up.
Well, Johnson's going to actually probably pit before them.
Johnson will need to pit before then, and that's actually any time now.
Yeah, I think he passed the pit lane that time, but I think he could be coming in this time. But from here, everybody can make it. We're 40 laps to go. You're about 40 laps in the tank.
Okay. Powers stopped at 200, Burke at 201. Will that one lap make a difference? More cars making a call for the pits.
Johnson stays out.
I'll tell you what, Deloche is not in fuel-saving gear, that's for sure.
Yeah, Greg McEnany's on the pit lane. He's a lap down, though, so. Yeah, I don't think Deloach needs to think about saving fuel at all.
And he's in a slipstream of, I think, Anderson, number 33. That might be.
He's 4 laps down in 17th.
That's is that a teammate?
I don't think
no,
so.
It's not.
Yeah,
no,
it's a little bit different.
Very similar, and he gets
really loose. Yeah, I saw that. Wow.
Turn 2.
But he saves it at the moment. Although several times tonight I've said, "Hey, that guy saved it," and when then right after that,
but look who passed him. Powers.
Powers
passed him.
Oh, so Powers got his lap back, but again, he needs kind of that caution to
yes,
get to the end here. But that's a power move to Powers with the power move to try to get this thing to work somehow, some way. And we had that series of cautions there from about lap 150 to lap 180, I want to say, and he was kind of thinking there would be more caution here.
I'd be curious what the race average is. Going back in history, one of the fastest, a couple of the fastest 500-mile races ever have occurred here. The fastest 500-mile, or actually one of the fastest 500-mile races happened here, and that was 196.111, and that was Zachary Brown pitting this lap.
Mark McFadden also on the pit lane.
Yeah, Tito pitting this lap. Deloach pitting this lap. Yeah, Tony Kanaan had that race. Sam Hornish won a 400-mile here at a 207.151 race average. Talk about really making it cook. Over in the kart days.
Whoa, we had a car that might have been Utito.
Did he come in
He
cook it?
Hit the pit attenuator, I think.
Oh no.
Let me see if I can get a replay of that, because I don't want to say that it was him and it wasn't, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. He had some issues coming to the pit lane to begin with, and then he cooks it in. Oh man, and he hits the pit attenuator. He gets stuck in the attenuator and has to reset. So he's out of this thing. Wow.
That's really unfortunate. We have Deloach back on the track. Powers
Powers is in the lead at the moment.
Yeah,
cycles through.
We cycled through, so he's back. Deloach is out in front of Brown, and they cycled in front of Burke.
Burke's got some front wing damage.
When did that happen?
And he's coming back to the pit lane. I think I would have just stuck it out if I was him. Unless he got this is like a penalty or something like that.
No, he has. I wonder where he got it from. Keep updating here. I will find the spot that this happened. He might have. I don't know how many laps he rode around with that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to cycle him through. He was in that second position for a while, so really good run for him. Just some bad luck here at the end. Deloach. Okay, no, sorry. My ticker for a moment said Deloach had taken the lead, but he hadn't.
Oh! He gets into the back of who's our guy with the shiny green car that we liked?
Joey?
Not Joey Hayes. Find it here. I wish we could find these names a lot quicker. I think he was coming to pit lane, and he was slowing down the racetrack. I don't know if he called his pit. I'm sure they did. That's pretty
probably
much
probably required. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm cycling through. Shriver.
Oh, okay.
And so let me see what happened here. Shriver is coming at full speed. He is now starting to slow down to make the move, and and he's right into the back of him.
And Burke,
he struggles to make it into pit lane, and no, he spins out, making pit at the pit entrance.
Yeah, we had a lot of issues coming into this particular round of pit stops.
So that might be it for Burke.
So I think, Powers is our leader here. He's 20 laps into his stint. He was with Burke there for a while. Burke's no longer, so he's the only one on the strategy. He probably needs to pit about lap 240 to 242. So he's going to be about 8 laps short.
Yeah, that's going to be a splash and go. I'm not changing tires on that.
Yeah. Well, this is where, at this point, he kind of hopes for that caution. We've only have about 6 cars on the lead lap. You know, he gets that caution. He gets the fresh tires, and you know, he's shown that he can come back up to the lead. He's got that probably the fastest car out here. Although Joey, our fastest lap still here in this race, I don't think he's going to knock that off.
Yeah, I have to go back and look. That probably occurred very early in the race when everyone was together and through the draft. And hey, the wonders of the draft. It happens.
Yes. Can't take it away from him. He's the fastest.
No, he's got it. He's got it. It's his. Right now, at least.
Yeah.
So Powers, fellow Hoosier, sporting the Eddie Van Halen striped helmet.
And he's just kind of out here on his own at the moment. He's 12 seconds ahead of Deloach, and there's nobody ahead of him. So nobody's going to help him on that fuel situation he's got.
He can lift if he wants to. 217.781 last time around. Deloach 219.648.
I think he's
21.541.
Did you say 31?
221.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he did a 31 lap. I know in qualifying they were doing 31s. So I think if you're Rob Powers, I don't think you save any fuel. I think you just go for it, and if the cards fall your way and you get that caution, you know, that's good for you.
Coming to 25 to go.
Yeah, we're coming down to it.
The last 50 miles.
Let's do a quick through the field here. 25 laps to go. So we have Powers in first, Robert Deloach in second, Zachary Brown 2 seconds behind him, Forge car, Daniel Johnson, Kinetic car in fourth, going around a lap car it looks like, Stephen Paulison in the fifth position, Mark McFadden, he's just in a gaggle of cars. Hopefully nothing happens there. In the sixth position, Daniel Davis in the seventh position, Chris Yatito. So Chris, he had that pit attenuator incident. He's actually in eighth still, so he got that reset, but he got back out here pretty well. Greg McEnany in ninth, Maurice Gamillion, another gaggle of cars, in the 10th position, and I'll go to Jonathan Diggs last. He's on one lap down, everybody beyond. Carl Burke, we'll quickly look at him because he was running real strong. He's still up to 12th, even though he had to do that extra pit stop there, whatever, to get that front wing repaired from that incident. I think if I was Carl, I would have just stayed out. Although Carl was on Rob's strategy, so he knew he had to pit again, right? So he did that early pit again, rather than Rob's going to do the late pit in.
Yeah, now is lap 215.
Yeah. He can make it to the end.
But his pit stop was also going to be a little bit longer with the required repairs of the... I mean, also, I don't know if he's used a fast repair yet.
Yeah, I actually see his pit stop was 14 seconds, so that's, the 9 seconds pit stops plus the 5 second, front wing repair change, yeah. Brian Scrivener, so he was up to like 6, so he might have had it. Yeah, he had a 1 minute pit, so he might have got hit for speeding in the pit lane. We had a whole like crazy.
More cars yeah, that was a crazy cycle.
Yeah,
and more cars are pitting. I know a lot of cars were trying to push the issue. This is their last time. They make up as much ground. I mean, one of the easiest places to make up ground on a racetrack is through pit road, but it's also one of the easiest places too. And I almost learned this last time myself, where you lose time on pit road.
Yeah, with these kind of low downforce setups, on a super speedway like this, that pit lane can be really treacherous. So
20 to go. Coming to 20 to go. There we go. 20 to go.
Yep, and we've got Powers about 11 laps from having to pit. He might be able to stretch it a couple laps, but
he's not saving.
No.
I'm just checking the in-car, and he's in 5th gear. So he is not saving. You might as well push. I mean, push.
Yeah, there's no way you can make 8 laps of caution, or 8 laps of fuel. And you might make 3 laps. If we did have a caution in the last 10 laps, the lapped cars would move out of the way, so that could benefit him if something like that were to happen.
Strategies coming into play here, big time.
We're kind of spread out here, like from everything, but Stephen Paulison's moved up to that 5th position, and he's only a 10th back from Daniel Johnson. Paulson in that Section 8 car.
I think you got McFadden and Davis are starting to get into the clutches of the leader here soon. They're both about 30 seconds behind.
Well, the good thing for them is that the leader is Powers, and Powers is going to have to pit, and then Deloach is 10 seconds back from Powers, so they could still stay on the lead lap, even if they get lapped at the moment.
Yeah, they both stopped at lap 213. Look at the cars hit those bumps on that backstretch. That is a bumpy backstretch. A lot of giving and taking on the radios. Nice to hear that.
I would imagine this backstretch in real life is even worse now than it is here.
Well, if they're going to bulldoze the place, I'm sure they're not going to put any more money in the paving.
Well, that's actually part of the story there. As I heard, it was going to cost X amount of dollars to repave it. So they're like, okay, what else can we do to make money here? It's going to cost us, $30 million to repave this thing. And we do our 2 NASCAR races a year. I don't know if they do 2, but they can make money at other times of the year with some shops and a short track around.
Come on,
here.
race fans, start a GoFundMe.
Yeah. When has that ever worked in the racing world?
GoFundMe to pave the backstretch at Fontana.
Yeah, we can get a 6x6 foot section. Yeah, unfortunately, racing costs are just too much for a GoFundMe to work.
Yeah. Deloach got that lead down under 10 seconds. Powers is actually losing ground. I don't know if the traffic is playing a role or he's actually backing up. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got those old tires, so he might be scrubbing a little bit more than he was previously. Deloach is running about 0.2 of a second faster than him. But really, it's just a matter of time here. Powers needs to see that caution flag to save his skin.
The fastest car, or actually, Deloach is the fastest car on the track right now. Check that. It's Yatito. 219.271 is the fastest car on the track. So, unfortunately, that's too little too late almost.
Paulison's moved into 4th.
Yes, he has. 219.055 was his last lap.
McFadden in 6th. He's about 5 seconds back from Johnson, so I don't know if he's going to be able to get around him or anything like that.
Green wide coming out of turn 4.
Who was that?
Oh, and the leader's into the grass. The leader's into the grass.
He's trying to make his own caution happen, I suppose. I see him. I've got him on camera. He's going to have to come back. Deloach is going to take the lead here.
That is no caution.
No caution.
No caution. Oh, my goodness.
Was that with some lap traffic there? Let's get a replay of that.
They were 3 wide coming off at turn 4. You had Burke there, and you had another Kinetic teammate.
I'm going to go on board with Powers here. Yeah, I see that Kinetic teammate. Oh, it just looked like Powers lost it on his own, having to, tuck down on the inside. And then he took a ride through the grass.
Wow.
So Deloach...
How things have changed. Wow.
Deloach takes the lead. That's going to bring Paulison.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's going to bring Paulison into that podium position.
Powers should just stop now.
Yeah, he's probably... Oh, he is. He's on pit lane.
Lick your wounds.
Yeah, this just did not work for you.
Sorry, man. So we got now 10 to go. 240 just clicked off. And Deloach is your leader. Zachary
Brown is in second place. Another Forge car, a teammate of Deloach.
Now, I do want to point out, Deloach started 5th in today's field. He turned, for this event, okay, so these drivers are required to turn X number of laps for practice in order to just qualify, right? He, in this particular race, he turned, out of all the competitors, he turned 1,147 laps in practice. The next closest person was Robert Covey, at 1092.
Who did you say had the most?
Our leader.
Okay.
Don't tell me practice doesn't make perfect, or practice doesn't help you in the race. This man has proven it right here.
So I was incorrect earlier. So Paulison, I'm trying to figure out where he's at. Is he in the third position?
And just to let you know, though, that's 2,294 miles. 2,294 miles of practice.
That is a lot of practice. So McFadden has moved into the 5th position because of Powers' mistake there. Daniel Davis into the 6th position. Powers out in 7th. He is a lap down, so top 6 cars are on the lead lap.
Now, Brown's not out of it yet. I mean, he's still 4 seconds behind. Anything can happen.
Yeah, we're still at a point where if a caution came out, we'd have a green finish, or we'd have a chance to get back.
Deloach is still faster. 2:18.625 last time around. Brown 2:17.550. Powers with fresh tires and probably a little anger. 2:21.155.
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty fast.
Our man Hayes with the 2:22.845 back there. All right. He still has the purple lap.
Yeah, I think he's going to take that one. 7 laps to go. Deloach has about a 5-second or 4.5-second lead over Brown. Brown's got a almost 15-second lead over Paulison. 10-second lead now. That updated for me.
And Deloach and Brown have held station pretty much for the last couple of laps. Even with Deloach really just turning faster laps the last couple. So that number has kind of gone up and down, but it's not coming down to the point where I think Deloach really has to worry about anything. He just needs to keep it between the walls and the lines and bring it home. 5 to go.
Yeah, you could almost just put it in field mode 5 and get to the end here, as we had a car on the access lane there, a little bit slower.
Yeah, he's got The car in front of him is about a second ahead of him. Hopefully he's going to yield, just move out of the way, not cause an issue. He's got no one behind him pressuring him.
And at this point, if a caution comes out, I don't think we're going back to green.
No green, white checkers here, folks.
No, there is not.
No gimmicks. Just racing. 4 to go. 8 miles. One of the crown jewels. Caution!
Caution is out, so that'll be the end of the race there.
I think that might have sealed it.
I believe it would be.
All right, what happened?
Let's try to see if I can figure out.
Something happened in turn 1.
This is what Rob Powers needed, but a few laps too late.
Yeah. There's still smoke in turn 4 or turn 1, so something happened in turn 1. The Mustang pace car collects our leader, coming into turn 3. He is he's not worried about fuel at all. He's in 5th gear.
No, he's not.
So yeah, if it's me, I'm in 6th gear on fuel map or engine map 8, out of habit. But he got plenty there. He's got plenty there.
As we're gonna go by and have 2 laps to go here.
2 to go, and I don't. Yeah, you're right. We're not
going back to green.
We're not going back to green. Now you still have to finish, folks.
Yes, that's right.
Anything can happen.
Well, we saw in the Formula One race today there was a safety car, and one of the cars crashed, warming their tires.
Oh, he pulled a Roberto Guerrero, huh?
Yeah, well, Roberto was probably spinning up that turbo, wasn't he?
Yeah, on the Buick, yeah.
Yeah.
The Buick V6.
Yeah.
Well, it happened to Tom Sneeva, and I'm pretty sure he had a March Cosworth back in '86, so.
86.
86, yep. And someone on the radio just said that they need to, at the finish of the race, go to the apron on turn 2, all that paved area, and turn donuts in honor of Greg Moore.
Well, that would be a good cause. That was just what was it, 21 years ago? 21 years ago yesterday.
Yeah, I watched that race. I remember. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, and that's the guy on the radio just says, I remember watching that race.
Well, 500 miles. California 500.
That whole incident with Moore, it's interesting how, okay, it's massively tragic what happened, but it opened the door for Helio Castroneves. And
correct.
Now you're looking at a 3-time. Without that happening, do we have a birth of a 3-time Indy 500 champion? I don't know. I don't want to think about someone's misfortune and all that happened, but really it opened the door for Helio Castroneves, and that man really capitalized on it. I know Castroneves was not Penske's first choice.
No.
To fill that seat, but he certainly did reward Penske's hiring him in 3 Indy 500 wins and all the stuff that he did with on the kart circuit before they joined the Indy Racing League.
Yeah.
But that's one door closes, another one opens, and it's just unfortunate that what had to happen there.
Well, we've got our final lap here. Deloach is our leader. Brown in second. Paulison's third. They still got across the start-finish line. Are we going to see donuts here from Deloach?
Well, I'm of the opinion, much like Barry Sanders says, everyone says, why don't you celebrate when you make a touchdown? And he's like, man, act like you've been there before. When I win, I typically don't do donuts. I just go and park the car. I know a lot of people want to make donuts. I just want to pretend like I've been there before, and I have. So I just kind of make it professional. But some guys like to do this and already donuts.
I do a little bit of both, I
them.
suppose. Yeah.
More power to them. Hope they have fun. This is a game. It's a game. I don't care what people say. Have fun. So go do some donuts if you want.
Robert DeLoach crosses the start-finish line and wins the California 500.
Congratulations, Robert.
Forge Racing going to be really happy about that one, bringing home 2 cars in the podium. Paulison's going to come home 3rd, Johnson in 4th, McFadden in 5th. McFadden was our 22nd, so he's our big mover here, and he's an independent driver.
Positions, yes, 17
big time.
Great job on his part.
I'm going to head over and wait for these drivers for the podium interview, so I'll talk to you in a bit there, Gary.
All right.
As we have many cars doing donuts, as Gary had mentioned, in tribute to Greg Moore tragic incident back in 1999, just 21 years ago yesterday. We didn't really do any blimp cam. This might be a good view. No, it's a little bit too close tonight. DeLoach, a little bit of damage on his car now, so we're gonna wait for them. We're gonna do our interviews. We'll be right back until they're in the booth. Hey, Rob, I got you up in the booth. This is Matt Houston.
Hey, Matt. How are you doing?
Great. How about you? Starting 5th, finishing 1st.
Great. That was pretty exciting. Yeah, that was fun. Pretty intense there.
Yeah, it was a heck of a race watching it from the booth. Rob had kind of the car to beat in the first half of this race, but you had the strategy at the end there.
Yeah, I think the cautions just felt just right. We were doing some math as we came under caution, and we figured if we could do it on one more stop if we filled up there. And that's what happened. Unfortunately, we stayed green for a really long time to let that strategy play out the way we hoped it would.
Yeah, just a few laps too late to get that caution flag with about 4 laps to go. Probably 5 laps too late for Rob there.
Yeah, tough break for him. He was definitely really fast all day. But yeah, I'll take it though.
Well, great run by your team and at Forge there. Who built your setup this week?
Chris works a lot on our setups. Brian was instrumental in a good queue setup, but Chris is working on setups every week. Mark tinkers with them, so it's kind of a group thing. But I would say Chris is our lead engineer if you want to give people titles. But Brian does a really good job. He found something in the qualifying setup that helped us knock off, 3/10.
Well, you guys were really strong this whole race. I don't know where you're going to finish in the points. I don't have them pulled up right now, but you were in the top, whatever in the points, right?
Yeah, I think Daniel B. Johnson was too far ahead of me to catch. I was trying to figure out what the drops were, but he was really solid, really good racing, really consistent all year long, and his drop week was still a solid week. So I don't think there was any chance of catching Daniel B. But we'll let him do the math, see how it comes out. But congratulations to Mark Stevenson, our captain, for winning the championship, and Daniel B. Good racing all year long.
Yeah, really good race. Well, congratulations on the victory here. It was,
Thank
I
you.
have to look at how many laps you led, but, it was certainly quite a few there at the end.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't know either, but yeah, felt like a few at the end there, but I'll take it.
Hey, anybody else you want to thank out there? Sponsors, family, anybody like that?
Yeah, the whole team. I mean, really couldn't do without them. Just motivating each other to practice. Tons of practice for this race, getting out there in groups, figuring out how this car handles in dirty air and figuring out how to combat that and just going through all the scenarios. So, everybody, Mark, of course, Chris, Daniel, Zach, Brian, Greg, Maurice, Dominic, Ron. Who else? I'm sorry if I forgot somebody there. Adam. Did I say Dominic? But the whole team really works together, and we help each other. We motivate people to get out there and practice, even when we may not feel like it. And just putting in the time and the track time, trying to understand these cars really
Hey,
pays
were
off
you
in
the
long run.
one that did 1,000 laps in practice too? I think you were.
Yeah, I had a little over 1,000 practice, and that was it. Just trying to get in traffic, figuring out how to take the air off of somebody behind me, and figure out how to follow and not lose my momentum. So I was just trying it all. And that was critical for me. I need more practice than the average guy, I think. So I have to put it in the time because it doesn't.
Well, practice makes perfect. What do they say? Like, do you need a certain amount of hours to be an expert in something?
Yeah. I'm still about 9,990 hours short on that, I think.
Yeah. I think we all are, right? Well, congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you.
Just like a really good run for your team there at Forge. And,
it was really strong. Chris had a strong run, ran into a little bit of bad luck. Been nice to see a 1, 2, 3, but he still had a strong showing also. And Mark had a good showing in the pro division. I think he finished 9th. So yeah, we really came together as a team and built some good cars and worked together really well. Great team. I can't wait to do it again next year. And thanks to the Major Series too. They did a great job hosting that. I know they don't get all the credit sometimes, but we appreciate the hard work they do because it's a thankless job. But really great series. Glad I found it and happy to be a part of it and can't wait till next year.
Great. Well, you take care of yourselves. Enjoy this one.
Yep. Thanks.
Yep. Hey, Zachary, this is Matt. Got you up in the booth.
Oh my God. Hi.
Well, another Forge car up here. You started 8th. You ran 2nd. Tell me about your race.
Well, I'd have to say I started off pretty strong, keeping my position. Definitely had a little bit of a choke at the beginning and dropped a little bit, and then there was the incident where I spun on the entrance of pit road, which put me back to 18th, but I was luckily able to climb all the way back up from a lucky yellow that came out.
Very good. I think, I don't know if I had you on the camera at that point when you did that, but I remember seeing a Forge car have an issue at one point in time, but I never picked out who it was. So I guess that was probably you then, huh?
If it was early in the race, definitely me. I think one of my racing partners, Chris, had a little mistake later on.
Yes, he had. Unfortunately, we did get that one on the camera late in the race because he was up there, top, of the cars that were pitting there.
Your third place, you can't really get away with mistakes.
No. Well, he's the guy that kind of builds your setups here in that team, from what I understand. So he can get away with that a little bit with you guys, I suppose.
Oh, of course.
So
anybody that knows their way around a car.
Anybody you want to thank out there other than everybody on your team? Robert just thanked everybody, I think, on the team. So any family, friends watching, sponsors?
Well, I have to give the obligatory thank you to my teammate again, or all my teammates. Gotta be thankful for my family for supporting me and my neighbors for dealing with the racket of a large car at 7 o'clock at night. And just the series in general. I mean, it's a great series, and I don't think I'd be racing quite this much, learning quite as much if I haven't joined the series. It's great and it's fun and it's well worth the $30 I spent.
Yeah, it's crazy what you guys do running all these different makes of cars, from a Lotus 49 to an Indy car to a V8 supercar. Well, supercar.
At least next year we're not going to be running the Silver Crowns.
Hey, I have a friend that loves the Silver Crowns, so I was mentioning that you guys ran those, but it sounds like you're not then.
They're fun cars, but just a small track with lots of people and slidey tires. It's not my cup of tea for racing.
Understood. Well, congratulations on that second position, and we'll see you out here next year.
Thank you very much. I plan to beat everyone on my team next year.
Well, you'll be working on getting that. So Robert had 1,000 laps of practice, so you're gonna have to step up your game and get it close to that, I think.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
All right. Take care.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
Hey, Steven, this is Matt for Race First. Got you up in the booth. Congratulations on your third position.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell me about your race. You started 14th, so you're the only non-forged car on the podium here. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, I don't know the teams too well. Yeah, actually, the race was. I had a lot of battles, some in towards the second half of the race, getting by lappers, but I'm sure they were in their own races too, and who knows what strategies they were on. But then after getting through those battles, I was kind of on my own, just driving around and hitting my marks. That just stayed really fun.
Well, it was a really good run. I saw you coming through the field. I'm always trying to look for who's the big mover in the race. Carl was one of the big movers early in the race. He had started 20th, and he was up to second at one point in time. But you ended up being the big mover of the race, at least for that top 5 position. Anybody you want to thank out there? I was going to ask you about your team name and all that. If I think you're the only one running for your team at the moment, at least at this track today.
Yeah, and the Sportsmen, so my teammates generally run all the roads and but they didn't, in some of the ovals, they didn't run this one. But so, I'd like to thank Sector 5 and Sector 8, which is the pro team, for all the help this year. And hey, you mentioned Carl, we were going back and forth a little bit, and then we just lined up and we're catching up to people. We figured it out. And we raced with Carl quite a bit in the middle of the race. And thank you for doing the broadcast. I appreciate that. And certainly, Michaelette and the entire, administration of this whole majors series, which is I think it's not because it's majors races, it's a major undertaking.
It's both, I would say, right?
It's both. So, can't give enough thanks to them. Clean racing, I was really, happy with how it went. A lot of close racing. Everybody was racing hard, but clean, it seems to me. Had some fun, tight spots at times, though, but clean.
Well, final race of the season, I guess you're going to be looking at next year. Zach was telling me you don't have to deal with the Silver Crowns next season, apparently. Any thoughts about next season?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm one of the people that have been on. I might have missed the first season, even from way back. So I think I'll do it again. It's a big commitment, but I've been, I missed one race this year. So I'm pretty good at making them. And yeah, I hope to make it next year. I guess we'll find out what they're doing next year. I haven't heard yet.
Well, I know from my own iRacing experience, I kind of try to stick to one car, and that is the Indy car. I don't think I could do what you guys are doing out here and running all these different types, from like a Lotus 49 to everything else you guys are running out here.
Yeah, I missed the Lotus, but I would have loved to run it. I think in the previous season I ran it and had a lot of fun and did well in it.
Well, congratulations again on that third place, and we'll see you next year.
All right, thank you.
Take care. Hey, Gary, I got you back in the booth.
Is everyone happy that's supposed to be happy?
Everybody's happy that's supposed to be happy. So any final thoughts about tonight's race? 500 miles. It was a good call, I think, between us, and that was fun.
Yeah, strategy played a role at the end there. A little for like 3 or 4 drivers at the very end. Unfortunately, the dice did not roll their way, and despite hanging out in the top of the standings all day long, a little misfortune bestowed them and kind of cost them a chance at victory. But there's another day, another year, another race. They can make that back up, but today's not that day. I've been there, done it, and I feel their pain. Great race. It's a great organization. I just want to say thanks for their the major series for putting faith in Race First, for allowing us to call the race, and hopefully we can do some more in the future. Thanks a lot. Thanks for all the sponsors, and please give to the charity. And again, thank for you for having me ride along and join you in the booth.
Yeah, thanks a lot for helping out here tonight, Gary. So for Race First, I'm Matt Houston, helped by Gary Godso tonight, and we'll see you guys next season.
Good night.